Hey guys, welcome in. It's a Rob Kendall Show. Hope you are having an awesome Thursday morning. The day is going by so fast. Thanks for spending with us. Yes. Hi, good night, everybody. Look, so here's the deal, right? I am dog sitting this week. Yes, I got somehow roped into dog sitting. Now, I will not, many of you know, I had an English bulldog for many, many years and decided when he passed away, so that's it. No more dogs, right? But have a good friend who they exhausted all their avenues. They have it's a little mini golden doodle. So there's not much to do, right? It doesn't take up much space. It's very quiet. I've met the dog before and thought, well, it'd be good for my daughter, right? She loves dogs. It's just dogs at her daycare. So it'd be great for her. So we agreed to dog sit for the week. And even with the dog where there's like no work, there's still work involved. So all the time is running together. Like at 2 a.m., the dog wants to go out. These are the things you forget about when you're dog sitting or when you don't have a dog anymore. Like these are the things that were a part of your regular life when you had a dog that you don't even remember. Because when you don't have the dog anymore, oh, it was all wonderful. Everything was great. I miss him so much, which I do. But these are the things. At 1:30, 2 a.m., the dog wants to go out. You got to let the dog out, right? So my time, my ecosystem, totally disrupted today. But for you, the brave listeners of the Rob Kendall Show, both live on YouTube and then on demand wherever you get your podcast, we will trudge forward 3 hours today, most of it Indiana news, politics, and government, takes and topics you're not going to get anywhere else. Wanted to start out the program today. Man, huge day over at robkendallshow.com. For those of you who are new, welcome. So glad you're with us. We have a fabulous website, robkendallshow.com. And we have a support button there where hundreds and hundreds of you fine, outstanding, very loyal listeners to this program regularly hit the support button. You all clearly have inherited way too much money, and you've decided to spend part of that with us. Thanks to those of you who hit the support button yesterday, including Tony, our pal C. Mills from the YouTube chat, Patrick, and Mitch. You guys are awesome. If you'd like to contribute to this program, if you like what we do, if you don't want to be a freeloader, go to your computer keyboard, your telephone, put Rob Kendall Show in, and at the top of the page, there's a support button if you'd like to keep Jason fed and this show rolling on. All right, so the big news yesterday from the governor was that he is once again going to suspend both of the taxes on gas. Now, most of you seasoned political veterans aware of this, but for those of you who aren't, those of you who are new, we have two taxes on gas in the state of Indiana. It's so nice they did it twice type of thing. There is an actual tax on gas, like a special tax just for gas. And then there is a sales tax on gas, like there's a sales tax on anything else. Now, the difference with the sales tax on gas is, unlike other products, it changes every month, right? Like there's huge fluctuations in the price of gas. And so the sales tax is 7% like it is on everything else. But while your Nutri-Grain bar or your cereal or your milk, obviously everything goes up, but generally there's not like huge spikes, huge price differences in those things from one month to the next. It has been the case with gas, and so people have been essentially, it's a double whammy. The price of gas goes up. The sales tax on gas goes up because it's a percentage of the price of gas. So a couple months ago, the governor came out amidst a fury of demands from people who are outraged over the price of gas because of the war in Iran, and said, I'm going to suspend the sales tax on gas. Not the gas tax, but the sales tax on gas. And then the next month, the governor came out and said, I'm not only suspending the sales tax on gas, but I'm suspending the gas tax as well. And then yesterday, the governor came out and said, once again, for the next month, because I believe June 7th, this executive order was getting ready to expire. The governor announced, I will once again for the next month suspend the sales tax and the gas tax, making Indiana have the cheapest gas in the country. By the way, the suspension of these taxes, 62.5 cents. 62.5 cents every gallon of gas you buy. The story to me here is not whether gas is getting cheaper. It is. Not whether suspending the gas tax is the right thing to do. It is. But the bigger story here is just how crippling the taxes actually are, and that is the acknowledgement without saying it out loud, what the governor is saying. Taxes are prohibitive. Taxes are designed to prohibit behavior. Going back to the foundation of the country, that's what they are. That's what they do. What do people do? They get taxed to a certain extent, they stop doing the thing. See last year, when the state of Indiana raised taxes by $1 billion to fund the budget. What were the taxes on? Tobacco. Why did they do it? They said, well, we want to prohibit the behavior. And it's a mixture of things. Smoking is down. Purchase of tobacco is down. However, people are now going to other states that can get there. So it's a mixed bag, right? But the point of taxation is it is designed from its inception, it prohibits behavior because it increases the cost of doing whatever business you're doing. And so what the governor is admitting here is that taxes drive up prices. And he's not suspending the gas taxes because he's admitting they're wrong. And by the way, the General Assembly is totally behind him. We'll get to what some of the members of the General Assembly said here in just a moment. He's suspending these taxes on gas because you're paying attention. The governor is suspending the taxes on gas, not because he's acknowledging they're wrong, which the tax is wrong whether gas is $4 a gallon, $2 a gallon, $3 a gallon. If the tax is wrong, it's wrong. If the tax is right, it's right. The price of something should not be how we judge whether we're going to tax something or not. Because we've always heard the story, well, we need the tax to fund the roads. And as we'll find out here in just a moment, they're still funding all of the roads. There was more than enough in the state's overtaxation fund. They call it a surplus. We call it an overtaxation fund. There was more than enough in the state's overtaxation fund to take money out of the overtaxation fund and offset the money that they're not getting by suspending the gas taxes. That's the thing you should be taking away from it. From all of this, one, the tax hurts you. They're only suspending the tax because of Trump's actions in the Middle East that are hurting you even more, and they know you're paying attention, and it's harder to get away with it because then people are like, why is my gas so expensive? Oh, look at all these taxes on gas. And, of course, they're doing it to help Trump. You notice what has it been now, 4 years ago? Nobody was rushing in the Indiana Republican Party to suspend the taxes on gas when Biden screwed up with Ukraine. Right? Gas exploded in price then. The Republican General Assembly, the Republican governor did nothing. Why? Because their guy wasn't in charge. The tax was still just as unjust. The price of gas was as high or higher than it is now, and they did nothing. This is a political move. It's a political move designed to help the president, designed to help the Republicans, because they've got elections coming up, because you're paying attention to gas. The tax is wrong. Whether it's $2, $3, $4, $5, the price of gas is irrelevant. If you need the money to fund the roads, then you do the tax. But the acknowledgement, once again, is they don't need the money. Because what would they be doing? Let's say that the Iran stuff had never happened. And let's say gas had stayed where it was, somewhere between $2.90 and $3.10 a gallon. and they had kept the tax, which probably would have been somewhere in the 58, 59 cent range if it's 62.5 cents now. At $4 plus a gallon, it would probably be somewhere, maybe 57, whatever, right? They would be putting it in the overtaxation fund. The state is estimating, and this is how much you're overtaxed. And this is why our show is so valuable. Nobody else is going to take the stance we're going to take. Nobody's going to look at it the way we're going to look at it. Nobody's going to tell it to you the way we're going to tell it to you. By the way, the Indiana Capital Chronicle has a big write-up on this if you'd like to read some of this stuff and more of what we're talking about today. Braun said yesterday that it's about $100 million plus a month lost in road funding by suspending the gas tax. That means you're overtaxed to the point where the state can, quote unquote, lose $100 million. And they're like, no, it's fine. We got this. Think about that. Think about how much in your day-to-day life you are overtaxed, where the state can make a decision that will cost them $100 million a month. And they're like, no, it's fine. We got it. You want to know the actual details on the numbers? According to the Capital Chronicle, the reserve revenue, the overtaxation fund, is set to be at $3.4 billion by the end of June. $3.4 billion by the end of June. Now, the end of June is important because that's the end of the state's fiscal year, which is how they judge everything. The state's fiscal year is not January 1st to December 31st. Their year is in beginning of July to beginning of July. That's why most of the laws, if you look at when most of the laws get passed, when they take effect, it's July 1st. $3.4 billion in the overtaxation fund. Now, that's bad enough. But you need to compare it to what it was last year. Last year, at the end of their fiscal year, end of June, they were at $2.7 billion in reserves, overtaxation. That means public school math, 3.4 minus 2.7, that's $700 million you were overtaxed this year. That's them taking in more money than they needed to spend on the day-to-day operations of the budget. The day-to-day, quote-unquote, necessities. Now, we all know CIEDC, the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, there's way more expenses than day-to-day necessities that go on in that budget. But even in the confines of the budget, they overtaxed you by $700 million. $700 million, guys. That's a lot of money. And what would they have done with it? This is the argument that I have made for years, is that the gas tax is totally unnecessary. By the way, don't forget, last year at the end of the session, another reminder, the revenue forecasters are so bad that they sold the governor and the legislature that they were going to be $2 billion short in their budget, which is why they raised taxes by $1 billion. So think about that, right? We've got all this money in reserves. We don't know what the revenue forecast is actually going to be, but because we care so little about you, well, we'll just guess. We'll just guess and say it's going to be $2 billion short. And we're so in the legalized vote buying business that we can't cut $2 billion. We won't cut $2 billion. So we'll raise taxes by $1 billion. Oh, well, hey, it turns out it wasn't that bad. Yeah, so now we're going to give $200 million to subsidize daycare. And we're still going to grow by $700 million in the overtaxation fund. So what that tells you is the raising taxes by $1 billion last year, totally unnecessary. None of the Republicans who voted to raise taxes by $1 billion, which was almost every single one of them, Andrew Ireland, want to acknowledge what they did. And it was unnecessary, and it's being proven right here. Now, there's a lot of controversy on Braun doing this, and we talked about this before, because the state statute allows the governor to declare a state of emergency for 60 days. The statute permits the governor to renew an emergency order once for a period of 120 days. The key is, though, he's only allowed to renew it once. It's very clear. The statute is very clear. The governor can only renew an executive order once as it relates to energy, which this is, and then the General Assembly has to come in. Well, as we clearly said, this is renewal number 2. And you know what Braun said? Kiss my ass. What Braun knows is that he totally probably can't legally do this, but he knows nobody's going to challenge him on it. Who's going to sue him and go, gas is too cheap? I'm really pissed off the governor made gas too cheap. It's certainly not going to be the Democrats. It's certainly not going to be the Republicans. And so he's just like, I'm going to do it. Who's going to stop me? I love Todd Houston, who's an attorney, by the way. I mean, the law is very clear. It says he can renew it once. He made the choice to do it for 30 days. That was his choice. It doesn't matter how long you make it. It says you can renew it once. It's ironclad in the statute. He's doing this because he knows nobody's going to stop him. This is what Todd Houston, who's an attorney, had to say, Speaker of the House of Representatives. State law allows energy emergencies to last up to 120 days without legislative action. No kidding, idiot. But it clearly says you can renew it one time. Nobody will answer the question how they're getting around the one time other than they're just ignoring the one time. Let's talk about how hilarious this comment was from Braun when he got asked about it. I'll just read you what the Capitol Chronicle wrote. Quote, Braun told reporters the Attorney General's office has not weighed in on his decision to continue the emergency order, which, quote, must mean that there isn't anything to weigh in on. Guys, can we talk about how hilarious that quote is? Todd Rokita is a political animal. He's a political animal who wears the title of Attorney General. He's certainly not going to say anything about, it's not even a cut of taxes, it's a suspension of taxes. And I love that Braun's interpretation is, well, he didn't say anything, so there must be nothing wrong with it. The Capitol Chronicle was like, well, we'll call your bluff. We'll call over and ask him to say something. Here's what Rokita did to their question. Attorney General Todd Rokita's office did not immediately respond to request for comment Wednesday. So even when he gets asked, he's not saying anything. Here's what Rod Bray, the pro tem of the Senate, said. Even though Indiana has one of the lowest costs of living in the country. Okay, stop on that. We have one of the lowest costs of living in the country because we have some of the lowest income in the country. Like, that's how that works, right? The more you make, the higher the cost of living tends to be. High gas prices continue to be a major concern for many households across our state, which is why I support the governor's move to temporarily extend the suspension of the sales tax and excise tax on gas and provide some short-term relief for Hoosiers. Again, Bray is admitting they're doing this. He's letting Braun do this because people are noticing and are pissed off about the price of gas. They're not doing it because they're acknowledging the tax is wrong. They're doing it because politically it's hurting their party. Politically it's hurting them. Politically, this fall, that can be a big issue. And it is likely to be a bigger issue than just at the top of the scale, at the federal level. It's likely to be a big issue on the down ballot races as well. Either a tax is right or a tax is wrong. And if a tax is right, you do the tax. Everything we've been saying since 2017, when the Republicans in the House and Senate and the Republican governor enacted the largest tax increase in the history of our state, is playing out. The gas tax has always been a scam. The gas tax has always been a money grab. The gas tax has always been a slush fund. And what we're learning about Republicans who control everything is that they are overtaxing you everywhere. They're overtaxing you in the budget. They're overtaxing you on gas. They're overtaxing you on property taxes. Look, if you want to do something about affordability, because that's how Braun always words it, we're having a press conference. We're having an update on affordability. The number one thing, if you gave a damn about affordability, would be to ensure people could afford to live in their homes. And what they do last year with property taxes, they gave a bunch of money away to businesses, and they gave you nothing. And by the time these referendums pass all over the state this fall, and within a couple years after that, even if you don't have a referendum, because they're not doing anything about assessments, you're going to continue to pay more on property taxes. They're not doing anything about utility bills. Why? Because utility bills buy and sell these politicians. They buy and sell the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, Indiana Economic Development Foundation. They're doing the bare minimum here and throwing a parade for themselves because you're pissed off and you've noticed the price of gas, and that's it. Hey, now that gas is cheap, no excuse not to go for a drive. My wife got gas for $2.59 today. Yeah, thank you, Trump. Get out of here with that. She had used the points at one of these places. I don't know which one it was. But she got gas for $2.59 today. No excuse not to drive to Brazil and check out our friends at the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro. You guys notice that fabulous sign? That was made by Andy, one of the owners of the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro. This show has the best listeners and the best advertisers. I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday about this, and we were talking about how involved our audience is and how involved our advertisers are. And there's nothing like it. I mean, a lot of places have advertisers, right? But the advertisers aren't literally making signs for the show. All sorts of stuff that our advertisers are doing for us. All sorts of stuff that our listeners do for us. Our guy, C. Mills, who donated generously yesterday at robkendallshow.com. You should too. You should be cool like C. Mills. He's got us shirts. I'm meeting C. Mills on Saturday to get the shirts. Look, you guys have created this incredible community, and one of those people that is a huge part of it are our friends at the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro. The Honeysuckle Hill Bistro, located on the water in beautiful Brazil, outdoor seating, chance for you to enjoy an evening out, an evening away, peaceful, quiet, great food, made from scratch, made with love, as they like to call it, Hoosier grub. Now, they recommend the Hoosier breaded tenderloin. They think it's the best in the state, but view the menu. View the entire menu. Just Google Honeysuckle Hill Bistro. All their desserts, all the pies. You can't leave without trying a pie, by the way. Made by hand, made from scratch. Down-home food made with love. Open Friday and Saturday for dinner. Sunday for brunch buffet. Honeysuckle Hill Bistro, located just off 40 in beautiful Brazil. A little bit of a drive, totally worth it. Do something different this weekend. Reserve your spot online. Google Honeysuckle Hill Bistro or call 812-443-3003. 812-443-3003. All right, guys, many of you know about this, but the Shelbyville Mayor got caught on camera saying something beyond egregious. And it goes to what I've been telling you for years, which is that these politicians absolutely hate you. They hate you. And this guy got caught on camera being a dumbass and saying what he thought out loud. And look, I said the only response is you have to hate them even more. We'll tell you everything that happened, what he got caught saying when we come back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the Central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance, so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002 or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Hey guys, welcome back. It is the Rob Kendall Show. Coming up here in just a little bit, I'm going to tell you about what the Shelbyville Mayor said. Because one of the things that I've told you guys for years, went all the way back to the radio show, is you have to recognize how much these politicians hate you. How much they look down on you, how much they despise you, how much they view you as their personal piggy bank. And that's it. That's what you are to them. And I've told you, until you get that through your head, these people are not your friends. They're not there to support you. They don't like you. They're there to bleed you dry. You are but a peasant to them. And your job is to shut up and pay and shut up and do whatever they say. Until you have to hate them more than they hate you. And it's fascinating because if you guys remember this last year when all the swatting stuff was going on? These lawmakers, these state lawmakers were getting the swatting attempts or threats. Remember Jim Lucas was like, this is Rob Kendall's fault. And we went back and forth. We had this like explosive back and forth on Hammer and Nigel, where as usual, he completely melted down. And he was like, this is your fault because you tell everybody we hate them. And then they're doing this because you said we hate them. And this is their response. And people were like, what? Like, Rob Kendall's never, ever told anybody to do anything violent. You have no idea who's behind the swatting. By the way, isn't it wild that there's been no arrests made in the swatting? All of these lawmakers supposedly got threatened.
They don't know how to trace calls anymore.
Yeah, I mean, like, what year is this? Can we not trace the phone calls? Can we not trace the internet tips or whatever? How is it that all of these lawmakers essentially got their lives threatened and there's been no arrests made? In 7 months? What the hell happened to the swatting stuff? But anyway, Lucas lost his mind and because he's a moron. That's the nicest thing I can say about him. He's a moron. He was, it's your fault and this and that. No, I said, you do hate people, Jim. Look at the policies. Look at what we just laid out last segment. How the government overtaxed you by $700 million. All the crap they spent, and they still had $700 million in additional taxation. Look at the property taxes. Look at the utility bills. Look at the money they take from you and give to the totally corrupt IEDC. Look at what Braun's about to do with the tolling on I-70. $6.5 billion in new taxes, yet they're going to siphon off, or they will siphon off, $700 million in new taxes on I-80 tolling to the Bears. What would you call it, Jim? But somehow I'm the bad guy for pointing that out. Somehow the swatting became my fault, as though some guy 3 hours away from here who couldn't even get WIBC's frequency, because that's where some of these lawmakers were getting swatted 3 hours from me, was like, Rob Kendall's right. It's just ridiculous. The lawmakers, the elected people, they hate you. You have to understand that. They hate you. And in just a moment, I'm going to tell you about what the Shelbyville mayor got caught saying on camera. And I will ask you, when we're done with this, how you would interpret it as anything other than having immense, intense disdain for the people of the community. I'll let you be the judge. If you find some word better than hate, I'm all ears. But first, before we do that, if you haven't done so yet, we have 3 ways that you can really help us grow this program. Look, we are totally dependent upon the kindness of strangers. We are the boy in the giving tree. Please help us. There are 3 ways you can help us grow this program. We call it like, share, and subscribe. Number 1, like the feed. If you're watching us live, if you're watching us on demand, on YouTube, whenever you're consuming us, hit that little thumbs up button. And by the way, of course, we're on more than just YouTube. We're on all the major podcasting platforms, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, all the places you can find us. Thank you to the on-demand listeners. They don't get enough love. I freely admit it's a mortal flaw of mine that I pay too much attention sometimes to the live feed, when in the reality we have just as many people who catch this program on demand throughout the course of the day. We love you guys wherever you're watching from, whenever you're watching. You guys are great as well. But for the purposes of this argument, for this conversation, if you're watching us live on the YouTube feed now, hit that little thumbs up button. It really helps us. Now, wherever you're listening from, share our feed, Apple, Spotify, YouTube. If you got a Facebook, if you got Twitter, let people know we're out there. Let people know what we're doing here every single day, which is 3 hours of mostly Indiana news and politics and government that you're not going to get anywhere else. Look, let's face it. No matter what anybody runs 9 to noon, it ain't going to be like this. No matter who anybody runs 9 to noon, it ain't going to be this. And so help us out by sharing the feed, letting us know, letting people know where we're at. And last, whatever platform you're listening on, subscribe to our channel. Apple, Spotify, YouTube, whatever it may be. And look, I have really screwed up by not giving our other platforms enough love, because we have just thousands of people on all of those platforms as well. So thank you to everyone. Like, share, and subscribe. That's how you can help this program grow. Also, RobKendallShow.com. We mentioned the support button. If you want to be like our super amazing friends, Tony and C. Mills and Patrick and Mitch yesterday, you can help this program out. Hit that support button. $1, $10, $50, whatever it might be. Yesterday, people were giving money so Jason could go buy his Claritin. And Jason was very appreciative of that. I think he got the extra strength. And it worked. See, you guys are keeping Jason alive. That's what you're doing when you hit the support button over at robkendallshow.com. And we have the link to the tickets to the live show. That's our health care plan. Screw that Obamacare stuff. We're on our own over here. We have tickets to the live show. Of course, we're doing it June the 27th. Live show, Mad Hatter Comedy Club Event Center in Greenwood. Celebration of you guys. Celebration of how you guys have just helped this program over our first 13, almost 14 weeks now, just grow immensely. You guys are the greatest audience in the world. We're so lucky to have every single one of you, even you people who hate listen. And I know many of you are out there. We love you too. You all contribute the same. You all help the algorithm exactly the same. So as a way to say thank you, we're hosting a live show June the 27th. It's an awesome way if you'd like to give back to this program. Come see us in person. The one-man live show. We're going to laugh. We're going to roast some politicians. I'm going to use some spicy language. And most importantly, it's a chance for you guys to all get together. Many of you have never met in person. And so we said, this would be a great opportunity. Support the show. It'll be a fun evening out. Mad Hatter Comedy Club Event Center in Greenwood. Get your tickets. Link now, robkendallshow.com. All right. Before we get to what the Shelbyville mayor said, one of our fabulous sponsors are the fine folks from Seal Now, the clean, seal, and stain professionals. And what they do, they bring your concrete back to life. I'm talking driveways. I'm talking patios. I'm talking sidewalks. Any outdoor concrete structure, they can fix it. They can make it like new again. They can take you from the black eye of the neighborhood to the envy of the neighborhood. And Seal Now does more than just concrete. They do wood, so decks, fences, pergolas. Any outdoor wood or concrete structure, Seal Now, they're your guys. Here's what you do. You go to sealnow.com. It's summer, right? You got to have your outdoor stuff looking good. You can't go through another whole summer like, hey, Fred, they're going to call the homeowners association on you if you don't get your act together. Avoid that HOA call because nobody wants to deal with the HOA. Head over to sealnow.com, SEALNOW.com, sealnow.com. See other people's projects, see what your project might look like. Get a free estimate for all of your work. And best part about it, if you tell them you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show, you're going to get 20% off any long-term sealing project. 20% off any long-term sealing project by simply saying, heard about you on the Rob Kendall Show. Seal Now, SEALNOW.com. All right. Let's talk about what the Shelbyville Mayor did. Where the heck did my water go? Oh, there it is. I can't even. Yeah, it's my fault. It's my fault. Just I can't keep track. I wasn't insinuating it was your fault. I'm having a lot of trouble keeping track of my own life. I'm totally out of sorts with this dog. Anyway, so numerous media outlets have reported on this. We're choosing to use the reporting from Fox 59. You can see this video for yourself, and I would highly advise you to do that. So this is the mayor of Shelbyville caught on film. His name is Scott Ferguson, and he is caught on camera insulting his own constituents, insinuating that any of these people in the greater Shelbyville area with the no data center signs, which there are hundreds and hundreds of them now, in their yards, were poor renters living in, quote, well, I'm not going to use the word he used. It rhymes with itty. It has a couple additional words or letters, and the first two letters are SH. There you go. How about that? See, Jason insists we are all radio friendly now all the time, and so I've abided by that. No. I wanted people to know where they're spelling it out. It was like Wheel of Fortune. I'd like to buy a vowel, please. You know what he said. Rhymes with itty. And that's really, there's only one profane word that rhymes with itty, right? So anyway, he just grossly insulted people who are putting these no data center signs in their yards. Now, let's remind everybody, because we did a whole bunch of coverage on this when this vote went down. We had Connie Lindsay from the anti-data center group on our show talking about what exactly went down. And the city of Shelbyville is trying to turn close to, well over 400 acres, 429 acres, into an 11-building data center complex. We're not talking about like a data center on 50 acres. We're talking about, when you're talking about 430 acres, you are talking about changing the character, the look, the feel of a community forever. Forever. You're talking about 11 buildings. And more than 2,000 people in the greater Shelbyville community signed a petition objecting to this. That's a lot of people. And I believe, I'm doing this from memory here, this was such a bad deal that the Shelbyville Planning Commission voted no on the project. The Shelbyville Planning Commission, which is supposed to be the rules enforcement of land use in a city, had voted no, and the city council overrode the Planning Commission's recommendation. And I mean, it got nasty. People were very angry. And people have a right. Look, we've had the conversation to death on the data centers, and I'm not going to do a deep dive on data centers today. Here's our stance on this show on data centers. We recognize the value of data centers. We are allowed to exist here on YouTube and on our other platforms until we get back on the radio, which who knows when that'll be. Who knows?
I do.
But until that day comes, we are being brought to you, and no matter where we end up in the future, radio, TV, whatever, we are brought to you by the power of data centers. So we're not hypocrites here. We're not anti-data center. We thank YouTube and Google and all the fine people, Apple, Spotify, everyone and the data center that is powering them. We're not anti-data center. We recognize value in data center. However, our stance has been the state of Indiana, and to some extent the federal government, needs to get some framework in place that provides the data center companies the clarity that they seek, the security that they seek, so that they know when they engage in any sort of conversation with the community what a bare minimum is. The policy also has to give communities a win financially. It has to give taxpayers some level of certainty about vital things like natural resources, things like water, things like utility bills, power that people are going to be able to afford to turn their lights on. And it has to be a win financially for everyone. We've got to get out of the gajillion dollars of tax breaks without any sort of clear win for the communities. Like, none of this is existing right now. It's all just one community to the next. Everything's the Wild West, and it's bad for everyone. It's bad for the data centers. It's bad for the communities. It's bad for the governments. It's bad for the taxpayers. And we're walking around with our heads in the sand on this, refusing to address the issue. We're refusing to address the issue. And you get stuff like this. You get communities ripped apart because the data center policy in our state is the Wild West. We got it. The governor, I realize this is asking a lot, but the governor's got a lead on this. And the problem with Braun is he's in bed with a lot of the data center people. And Braun's IEDC are the ones giving away the freebies to the data center people. Look, my policy on the data centers is the same as the rich people. I'm not for taxing the rich people into oblivion. I ain't Bernie Sanders over here. You earned it, it's yours. I don't want to take it from you. What I don't want is my money as a middle-class person going to the rich people. Like, I don't want my money being taken and given to the rich people. I feel that way about data centers. I feel that way about football teams. I'm fine with people making as much money as they legally can. I don't want money being taken from me and my neighbors in order to make it happen. I don't think that's unreasonable. I don't think that makes me a socialist. I don't think that makes me anything other than a guy who wants you to live your life and make as much money as you can, and I'll live my life, and let's just stay out of each other's way. But in the case of Shelbyville, you have seen a community that is outraged over the actions of the city government. And it doesn't make those people bad people. It doesn't necessarily, look, I don't live in Shelbyville. I have the concerns that I just laid out about data centers as a collective. This could end up being the greatest thing ever for the city of Shelbyville. I don't know. I don't live there. But what I do know is people who are concerned about data centers and impacts on their communities have rights to do that. It doesn't make them a public nuisance. It doesn't make them criminals. It doesn't make them bad guys. It makes them concerned, engaged citizens, which they have every right to be, and I wish everybody was as engaged as the Shelbyville people on the data centers are on the data centers. I wish people were as engaged on every issue. Because if we did have that level of engagement, we would have better government. And so, at some public place, the mayor, Scott Ferguson, and again, there's a video of this. You can see it for yourself. Fox 59 has it. Other news media outlets have covered this. He's being filmed, but seemingly doesn't know he's being filmed. Now, this guy is a moron for saying this in public. Now, this is one thing about the politicians. Like the Lucas people, the Jim Lucas, this guy, they're morons. And they talk a lot in public. That's the one saving grace. These dumbasses can't keep their mouths shut. And this guy, this idiot, I mean, it's one thing to think it, it's another thing to say it in public. They're both bad. But the fact that he had so little self-control, he said it in public. He said, quote, he's at a table. I don't know if this is a bar, restaurant, whatever. But he's at a table speaking with women who are holding these signs, right? Well, he's holding the sign. The mayor is holding one of these anti-data center signs. Like, they're all over Shelbyville. You drive around Shelbyville, you see them everywhere. Quote, I've seen a lot of these all over town, but I only see them at the expletive houses. So then he clearly appears to know he's talking to a woman who is supportive of the data center people, because she stops him. I don't know if it's the woman doing the filming or somebody with the woman doing the filming, because she stops him and says, working class. You see them at working class houses. Then he responds by saying, well, most of them are rentals, so. He then goes on to say, very, very unkempt properties. Look, I guarantee you there are nice houses that have the no data center signs. I guarantee you there are people who keep up their properties who have the no data center signs. 2,000 people signed this petition against the data center. They don't all live in shacks and shanties. Now, the mayor got approached, got asked for comment once this video surfaced. Here's what he said, or here's what his office said. The mayor's office issued this in a statement. Of course, he didn't have the cojones to stand in front of a camera and address it. The mayor regrets that his choice of words may have caused offense. The mayor regrets that his choice of words may have caused offense. Not, I'm sorry. Not, hey, that was horrible of me. Not, hey, this is an emotional issue. I've been worn down by it. I'm trying to do what's right for Shelbyville, and my emotions got the better of me. You know what's saying there? I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Which means he ain't sorry, and he did mean it. He's sorry he got caught. That's what he thinks of you. The mayor regrets that his choice of words may have caused offense. I'm not sorry I offended you. I'm sorry you're offended. His comments were intended to reference property maintenance and not the character, value, or importance of any resident, homeowner, or renter in our community. There's something I want to tell this guy to do, and because I have vowed to Jason I will do radio-appropriate programming, I'm not going to say it. This guy, everyone should be outraged about this guy. There is no way that he's referencing property maintenance for 2,000 people. I can assure you, 2,000 people who signed that petition, there are many of them that keep their properties up. And he deliberately mentioned renters. So you don't get to say now the importance of any resident, homeowner, or renter in our community. You went after the renters. Look, I was a renter for years. I'm sympathetic to the renters. There's lots of people who, for a variety of reasons, rent a home, rent a condo, rent an apartment. And a lot of people who rent are richer than people that own homes. They don't want to deal with the stuff that comes into home ownership. They don't want to deal with it. This guy is an ass. He deliberately insulted these people. And the fact that he did it in public, and he did it to a woman who he probably should have known wasn't on his team, shows you how little self-control these people have. It shows you how much disdain they actually have. When I talk about how much these people hate you, this is the sort of thing I'm talking about, Jim Lucas. Somebody should ask Lucas, what would he call it if it's not hating his constituents? If this guy doesn't hate constituents, what do you call it? This is the sort of disdain these people have for you. This guy just had so little self-control, he put it out in public. He put it out on full display for everyone to see. But what you need to recognize with this isn't a one-off. This is how so many of the politicians actually view the people they're elected to serve. I know. Look, I've told you guys, in the Rob Kendall origin story, I was always conservative. I always viewed myself as a limited government person. But when I really changed, like when I morphed into, it'd be the moment where if it was Spider-Man, I was bitten by the spider, or if it was one of these other characters, the Ninja Turtles, I was dropped into a vat of ooze or whatever, right? When I morphed into the Rob Kendall you see today is when I went to work for the state of Indiana, both as the pharmacy board director and when I worked in the state auditor's office. And I would see how these politicians and political leaders would talk behind closed doors. And they would do it openly in the sense of a closed-door setting. And the disdain they had for regular people, the disdain they had for taxpayers, the disdain they had for people who would speak up, who would come to meetings, who would passionately speak out. And I remember sitting in these meetings that I would be in, like, you guys don't really even know me. Like, I get this as a closed-door meeting, but I'm the new guy, right? You don't know where I fall on the spectrum. And I remember basically for 2 years of my life going through this on a regular basis and seeing these things and thinking to myself, this can't be unique. This can't just be these people. This has to be the way it is almost everywhere. Because you got to remember, like at the time, I was new to politics. I'd just been elected. I didn't know how any of it worked. I'm altruistic about all this. I'm naive to it. I'd just gone to work for the state, thinking like, hey, white hats, black hats, like all the people are wanting to do good. And then you realize, no, these people hate you. These people hate your guts, Republicans and Democrats alike. And this guy put it on full display and said it out loud. He had just had so little self-control that he said it out loud to a person he should have known was on the opposite side. And in this case, the opposite side is, hey, we have concerns about an 11-building data center campus going on 430 acres that will forever change the landscape of our community. It's disgusting. Hey, when you work with Lauren Wilson, you aren't being handed off to a realtor who doesn't care about you or know you. Lauren Wilson, realtor with Ad Properties, she's invested in you. She wants to be your advocate. And quite frankly, guys, that's what you're going to need to not only get the best deal for your home, the best price on your property, but also put you in a place that's going to make you happy for years to come. You need a teammate, a trusted advisor, someone to bounce things off of, someone who can tell you if you're about to make a bad deal, you're full of crap. That's what Jason is for this show. You need in your real estate experience, you need a Jason. No, look, Jason's not licensed by the state of Indiana to sell real estate. So we've brought in someone who is, and her name is Lauren Wilson, realtor with At Properties. That's the way you need to think of it. I need my own Jason. Give her a call today. Get to know her. Tell her what you want to do. Tell her what you're thinking about doing. One of the things Lauren is great at is she'll size up your property. She'll tell you, here's what your property's worth. Here's what I think it can sell for. And then you take the keys from there. Lauren Wilson, realtor with At Properties. 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. Give her a call today. Let her get to work for you. Maybe you ultimately decide, hey, I'm happy where I'm at now. That's not enough. I don't think I can get enough out of my property. I don't think there's enough available to make the move worth it. She gets that. But get the ball rolling. Get the ball started. Find out how much money, how much equity, how much money could be going into your pocket. Lauren Wilson, realtor with At Properties, 317-590-2290. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, the Republicans teamed up with the Democrats in the House of Representatives to make a big statement, a big pushback on the president, on the war with Iran. We'll tell you about everything that happened yesterday and what it means from here. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Hi, I'm Lauren Wilson, Realtor with App Properties. I would love to get to know you. I know that buying and selling a home is a really big deal. You need a plan in place so you can succeed. And that's where I come in. If you are buying, let me help you find that perfect home. And if you are selling, let me help you find that perfect buyer. Look, we're all Rob Kendall Show fans here. That's why I'd love to get to know you. I'm Lauren Wilson, Realtor with App Properties, an Army veteran and a Hoosier through and through. Call me at 317-590-2290, 317-590-2290.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's a Rob Kendall Show. Thanks for joining us. If you're new with us today, welcome. We're so glad you're here with us. We hope you stay around for a while. Tell your friends. Nobody's doing Indiana news, politics, and government like us. When we talk about national stuff, we talk about it in a way that we bring it back to home and how it affects you. One thing you can do if you're new, subscribe to the channel. We'd love to keep you around for a while. And one of the great benefits of being a subscriber, you get to participate in our YouTube chat each day. We have a community of hundreds of loyal listeners and viewers, and you can be a part of it with them. All you got to do is be a subscriber. Oh, and I got to point this out every so often. I don't do it a lot, but every so often I got to. You got to behave like a member of decent society. That means no harassing other chatters, no being mean. You don't have to like me. You can disagree with me, but you're mean to the chatters, you're out. And producer Jason, he is the YouTube police for us. And is that right? You had to give somebody the boot? Somebody was being obnoxious?
Just a timeout.
Oh, just a timeout. Okay, yeah. You don't have to like me, but you can't. You got to behave like a member of decent society. No harassing other people, no belittling other people in the YouTube community. So we call it like, share, and subscribe. If you're new, welcome. Enjoy yourself. Nobody's going to do Indiana news, politics, and government like us. All right, speaking of which, and I'll get to the stuff that the House did yesterday with Trump, but there are a lot of really, really, really big moving parts right now on some key issues related to the state of Indiana, and I'm going to get to them now. Because here in the next month, I think we're going to get decisions on both of these things. First of all, update on the Bears. And look, whether you are a football fan or not, whether you're a Colts fan or not, whether you're a Bears fan or not, you really need to lean in. You really need to pay attention to what's going on and what comes of this Bears stadium deal because, guys, gals, it is going to affect you big time for the foreseeable future. And look, we've been telling you for months, don't believe the deal that Braun has claimed is out there. We told you there's going to be so many more hidden costs on this thing that you haven't even begun to scratch the surface. And what did we talk about yesterday? If the Bears leave Soldier Field before 2033, there's a $90 million payout. Nobody's talked about that until now. If the Bears leave Soldier Field before 2023, there's a buyout that's going to cost people money. You think the Bears are going to pay that? The Bears are potentially leaving Illinois because they're mad about how much they have to pay in taxes. You think they're going to be like, oh, 90 mil, sure. Hey, George McCaskey, get the checkbook out. And what did we talk about yesterday? We talked about how yesterday this commission, this governing body that's being set up to oversee the stadium, is already talking about how much it's going to cost Indiana, how much they're going to have to pay to be a part of that buyout. Nobody was talking about that when the plan was put together. Guys, the cost for the Bears and the stadium will never end. You don't have to take my word for it. Just look at Lucas Oil Stadium. Just look at the Hoosier Dome, the RCA Dome. We paid on the RCA Dome 12 years after we weren't playing in it anymore. We still owe almost $500 million on Lucas Oil Stadium, almost 20 years after it was built. The Bears, what was it, $432 million is still owed on Soldier Field from 2002? Give me a break. These things are money pits. Once you get past the ribbon cuttings and the groundbreakings and the politicians showing up at the ball games, stadium after stadium has been a disaster for taxpayers. And that's why more and more, I guess pretty much everybody other than Indiana is getting out of the business of giving away money for pro sports teams. I mean, we just saw this with the Kansas City Chiefs, who the people of Kansas City said, no, we're not doing this anymore. Kansas City, Missouri, and now the Chiefs are fleeing to Kansas City, Kansas. Because I guess Kansas City, Kansas, like Indiana, is still like, hey, whatever you want, Mr. Billionaire, we'll give it to you. We'll take as much from our poor and our middle class as we possibly can to make you happy. But when you think through it logically, the only result is failure for the taxpayers. You just think about it in this perspective. Indiana, in 2000, I think it was approved in 2006, but in 2008, I believe is when it opened, built a state-of-the-art stadium in the heart of the capital city. Like, there's no more premium location for if a stadium is going to work. It would work in the heart of the capital city, where you have all of this built-in consumer base. It's already all there. With the stadium in Northwest Indiana, they're proposing to build something from scratch. Oh, and by the way, your consumer base is Chicago. Your consumer base is Chicago. Newsflash, already a plenty of stuff to do in Chicago. How are you going to, other than for events to the stadium, pull people to that development? These are the things that the lawmakers don't want to answer because they can't answer it. And so James Briggs, editor at the Indy Star, opinion editor at the Indy Star, wrote a column yesterday that I thought, well, he touched on many of the things I've essentially been saying. The Bears don't want to leave Illinois. They were using Indiana as leverage. Illinois called their bluff. Look, you have to understand how different the Bears, and unless you're a Bears fan, you don't get it. And this is why I said from the beginning. Now, I didn't think Illinois was going to be as, look, I don't know whether to use the word incompetent or strict or what, but I always thought from the beginning the Bears' play was Indiana as leverage. And many other people did too. But I'm a Bears fan. I'm a Bears lifer. I know the Bears franchise. And unlike some of these other places, like, say, the Houston Oilers moving to Tennessee, or, the Chargers moving to Los Angeles, or the St. Louis Rams moving to Los Angeles, or the or even the Raiders, even though the Davis family has owned it, they've had the team in multiple places over the years. Illinois is in the blood of the franchise. The Bears were founded by George Halas. George Halas is essentially the founder of the National Football League. Papa Bear was his name. And Illinois was in his blood. And then when George Halas died, his daughter, Virginia McCaskey, took over the team. And she owned it until her death last year. And now her son, her numerous children are the board of directors, but her son, George McCaskey, runs the franchise. Illinois is very important to the fabric of the family who owns the Bears. If it were any other ownership group, I would not have felt the way I felt about the Bears not leaving Illinois. But I don't think he ever wanted to leave. Now, the question they have now is, now that Illinois has called their bluff, will they actually pull the trigger? Here's what Briggs wrote. The Chicago Bears have backed themselves into a corner. If they're sincerely willing to move to Indiana, then there's only one thing left to do. Pack the trucks. If they've been using Indiana as leverage to get a better deal to stay in Illinois, then, well, the gambit failed. The Bears can slink back to Soldier Field and figure out next steps. He's right. Indiana has given away the farm to the Bears to the point where they were like, oh, 90 mil? Hey, we got to come up with that too. Like it's scary as hell how much money our state is willing to take from you and give to rich people. That's what the Bears Stadium deal is. And don't kid yourself when they try to sell you on it being, well, if you live up in the region up there. No. Yes, the tax increases, like the food and beverage tax, are going to be from people in the area. The hotel tax will be on people in the area. Now, look, I love my neighbors enough to not want anybody to have tax increases, whether I live up there or not, because bad government spreads like the plague. And I've been through it here with Lucas Oil Stadium. I've seen how the tax increases never stop. I pay it every time I go out to eat and have for 20 years. But the one that is really scary and should be very scary to everyone is the road issue. The state of Indiana raised taxes on I-80 by $700 million. That toll tax will go up every single year, twice a year now. And now there is a proposal to potentially use most, if not all of that $700 million in new taxes to go to the Bears Stadium. That money, if it's going to be confiscated, should be going to our roads. Not roads for the Bears, for our roads. Because how do we start the show? We started the show by talking about how the state of Indiana has collected so much excess revenue, excess taxes, overtaxation, that they can suspend the gas tax and cost themselves $100 million a month and not feel any pain. But if we're going to raise taxes on people, they need to go for roads that benefit everyone. And if $700 million is going to the Chicago Bears and not to our roads, that means one of two things. Either taxes are going to go up for everyone else, see the proposal on I-70 to raise taxes by $6.5 billion. By the way, somebody should ask Braun how it is that he's got so much money, so much excess revenue, that he can suspend the gas tax for $100 million a month. Oh, and give away $200 million for free subsidized daycare, but he can't fund I-70 without $6.5 billion in new taxes. Like, if you're overtaxing people by $700 million a year, which is the data shows, the reserves, which are overtaxation, have increased by $700 million. How much are you going to be spending a year on I-70? Are you going to be spending more than $1 billion a year on I-70? Because it's like, what, a 20-year plan, right? Well, $6.5 billion ain't $1 billion a year on a 20-year plan. See, Braun never wants to discuss math. He just wants to say things and then bank on nobody either thinking about it or asking the follow-up questions. You will pay for the Bears Stadium. You will pay a lot for the Bears Stadium, either in tax increases somewhere else or your projects won't get done. See, we're acting like, Indiana's acting like, oh, those stupid, stupid Illinois people. It was so easy. Look at how fast we acted. Yes, you agreed to raise taxes on people very fast. That's what the General Assembly did. They agreed to raise taxes on people very fast. Is that what we're commending? Is that what we're happy about? Is that what we're cheerleading? At a time where our roads remain, and every year is the same, a complete disaster? Is that what you're proud of? Hey, look at us. We stole a bunch of money from poor and middle-class people. Come on in, Chicago Bears. Briggs goes on to write, my assumption has been that the Bears were bluffing. But even if they were, Illinois' ambivalence must be painful to the Bears' owners and executives. Yeah, to steal a line from Animal House, and I won't use the words because we're radio-friendly here. You screwed up. You trusted us. Remember when they take Flounder's car and they drive it out to the nightclub and it gets destroyed? And he's crying. Yeah, it was yes, it was his brother's car. It was his brother's car. And their excuse was, we'll tell Fred you were doing a great job watching it, and we came out one morning and it was gone. And he's like, will that work? And they said, it's got to work better than the truth. But the Bears are in a bad situation in which they call home one of the most corrupt states in the country, in one of the most corrupt areas in the country, the city of Chicago. Briggs goes on to write, the Bears are like a person with a lucrative job offer to leave a company in which they're otherwise content to remain if they can just get a raise. Ha! Wow. What if you were content at a company and you just wanted to make the same amount of money? How about that? What if your request was, I don't want any more money, I just want the same amount of money. Please help me make the same amount of money. Yet that employer is refusing to make a counteroffer. At some point, leaving becomes a matter of pride, even if you'd rather stay. That might be where the Bears find themselves. Look, the one thing the Bears are dealing with is the battle in Illinois isn't with the Bears, it's the battle of Arlington Heights and Chicago. And these state reps and state senators, which make up a huge portion of the Indiana General Assembly because of the way population works in Illinois. Chicago is the population hub. They have tons of representation. They control the General Assembly because they are the population hub. And the battle becomes these Illinois senators, these Illinois state reps, not wanting to give up the Bears, not wanting to subsidize the Bears, leaving the city of Chicago. It's one of those things. If I can't have her, nobody's going to have her. Then Briggs does a good job, and it's a great article. You guys can go read it over at IndyStar.com, of pointing out the obvious and what we've said from the beginning. If this is actually about the taxpayers, as Indiana pats itself on the back and praises Braun in the General Assembly, it's likely Illinois is doing the right thing. Quote, unless, of course, you're looking at the Bears as an investment. In that case, you might be disappointed. The finances almost certainly sound much rosier now than they would turn out to be in practice. That's how stadium financing always goes. Landing an NFL team also does not guarantee a bright future for Hammond. Sports stadiums often fail to live up to their broader redevelopment purpose, and the Bears could just as easily move back to Chicago in 30 or 40 years. He's right. Look at the RCA Dome, Hoosier Dome. Look at Lucas Oil Stadium. Elected officials are supposed to serve the taxpayers, all of us. They're supposed to look out for our best interest. And when it comes to these sports stadiums, you see politicians who are only interested in the headline of the moment, the feel-goods of the moment, the good PR of the moment, and they're like, well, somebody else will have to clean up the financial mess later. It's every government action ever. It's how we ended up $40 trillion in debt. I do what I want. I participate in my legalized vote-buying act of the moment. I get all the glory, and then you have to pay for it later. That's Social Security. That's Medicare. It's every government program ever. I do what's best for me now. You pay later. You pay. You pay. Hey, you got a leaky chimney? Water in the basement? Cracks around the exterior of your home? Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants is your authority for chimney repair, tuck pointing, foundation repair, crawl space to basement conversions, basement waterproofing, and more. Bramwell Mackay doesn't offer quick patches. Their team of 40-year master masons and industry experts address the root cause and provide solutions that last lifetimes. Your home is one of your biggest investments. Treat it that way. Bramwell Mackay, BRAMWELLMCKAY, Bramwell Mackay, your masonry, foundation, and chimney specialists. All right, we got a lot more to get to today, guys. We got to talk about what the House did with the war powers. We got to talk about this interview Max Engling did with the Indiana Capitol Chronicle and what he said about this office. Look, this Secretary of State stuff is so important this fall, guys. And what this guy said, and he said it again now, he said it multiple times, we have to take him at his word. We have to take him at his word that he is indeed going to be a Jim Banks stooge. If somebody keeps saying it, don't fight him on the truth. If they're telling you it's the truth, take them at their word. This Secretary of State stuff, both sides of the aisle, crazy wild stuff. There's new polling out in Ohio. And look, Ohio is very similar to Indiana. And there is some very fascinating numbers about Ohio and the way people are feeling about Trump and the elections this fall and the Senate race. And we'll get to all of it. We got so much to get to today. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002 or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Your bathroom fan could be secretly costing you thousands of dollars in damages. Most people don't even know this until the damage is done. With over 18 years of bathroom remodeling experience, here are 3 signs your fan is failing you without spending a dime on inspections. Sign number 1 is if you have foggy mirrors after you shower. This shows that your fan isn't pulling out enough moisture, which creates the perfect environment for mold. If you have a properly functioning bathroom fan that is the right size for your space, you shouldn't see much fogginess on your bathroom mirror at all. Sign number 2 is if you have bubbling, cracking, or peeling paint in your bathroom. This means moisture is soaking into your walls, slowly breaking down drywall, and even causing the wood framing behind it to rot. Sign number 3 is if you have mold buildup on your fan, ceilings, or walls. This is terrible for your health, but also could wreck your bathroom, costing you a fortune. If you're noticing any of these signs, here's what you can do.
Call Vent Savvy today at 317-300-4434. That's 317-300-4434 and mention Rob for a free attic inspection. the Rob Kendall Show. Thanks for being with us. What do we do here? We bring you Indiana news and politics and government. You're not going to get anywhere else. If you're new, welcome to the program. Subscribe. Come join us every single day. Look, we started this program because we believed nobody was doing enough local. And we believed you guys would want great local programming. We love our community. We love our city. We hate our governments, but we love our state. And we're passionate about doing stories that you're not going to hear anywhere else in ways you're not going to hear anywhere else. And the great thing is we got the time to dedicate. We don't have any bosses telling us you got to be out in 10 minutes, right? We can spend as much time on these things as we want and you demand. And so we ask you to join us every day. Hit that thumbs up. If you haven't done so yet, that really helps us grow the show. If you like what you're hearing today, hit that little thumbs up. Let us know you're here. Join us in the YouTube chat. Be a subscriber. That's all you got to do in order to chat. We want you to be welcome. We want you to feel at home. We're doing this because we believe in great local content, and we need you guys to help us grow every single day. All right, speaking of local content, look, this is about to get crazy. And if you aren't aware, State House Happenings posted this morning. When you get done here today, if you're like, I just don't have enough Rob Kendall in my life, State House Happenings is a great way to kind of, in 30 minutes, we take the biggest stories of the week, we run them down to 30 minutes. This week, it's Jim Merritt, myself. You just think of it like an extended interview, right? Like if you like what we do here, people love the interviews. It's 30 more minutes of us talking about, in short order, the biggest stories of the previous week, kind of recapping everything. And so when you get done here today, head over to the videos section. It's up on the Apple. It's up on the Spotify. Give us a listen. Give it a try. We've been at State House Happenings for 9 years now. And State House Happenings is my baby. Before I was ever on WIBC, I had State House Happenings, and we'll keep that going. Wherever I go, State House Happenings will be traveling with me. Give it a shot, guys. Give it a check. When we get done here today, let us know what you think about State House Happenings if you haven't listened before. All right, so the Secretary of State's race. The reason I mentioned State House Happenings is we do a sort of a deep dive today on State House Happenings about these two state conventions that are coming up. The Republican convention, June 20th, and the Democrat convention, which is this Saturday, June 5th. Is that right? What is today? June 6th. Whatever it is. I don't know. Yes, it'd be the 6th, right? It's coming up this weekend. And we go into how different the two conventions are. Like the feel of the convention, like what's going to be taking place. They do the same things, right? They pass a party platform, they do party business, and then they nominate candidates. And they're all nominating the same set of candidates this year, the comptroller, the treasurer, and the secretary of state. And both parties are the same in the sense of there's no contested races for comptroller or for treasurer. But there are contested races for secretary of state. And the secretary of state's races are so different on both sides. And what I mean by that is on the Democrat side, the question really isn't who's going to win. It's by how much. And that's actually really important. Bo Bai, son of Evan Bai, former governor, former senator. His grandfather was a senator who ran for president. He is running against a woman by the name of Blythe Potter. And we've had both of them on our show. They've both been phenomenally good guests. I've talked to enough people on the Democrat side that they feel pretty good in saying Bai's going to win the nomination. But Potter has run a very good campaign given the limited resources she's had. She's really tapped in to the left's frustration with the establishment wing of the Democrat Party, which Bai represents. Now, Bai, most common sense people will say, gives the Democrats their best chance to win a statewide office in well over a decade. He's got the money. He's going to raise a ton of money. He's got the look. He's got the name. He's not going to do anything or say anything stupid. There's nothing in his past that you're going to find or that anybody's found where they're like, look at this. You feel reasonably good. He's going to give you as good a chance as you could possibly have. But there are a ton of people who are very disappointed in the Democrat Party. The Bernie Sanders people, the No Kings people. And they are very, very unhappy with the direction of the party and the fact that they feel the Democrats aren't fighting tough enough with the Republicans. And they're going to send a message at this convention. And so the question on the Democrat side to me is not whether Bai wins or not. It's how much does he win by? Look, anything other than 70-30, given the money advantage, name advantage, infrastructure advantage Bai has, that probably you got to look at as a loss. He's outraised Potter almost 20-1. Almost 20-1. He should win 70% of the vote. If he doesn't, it's a rejection of Bai by a huge portion of his party. And look, I say this as somebody, I'm cheering for Bai to do well if he's indeed the nominee. You know my theory. The Republicans got to start losing some elections to get back to acting like Republicans. I'm a Republican. The Republicans do not represent me anymore. They're not about low taxes. They're not about limited government. They take me for granted. They take you for granted. And the only way that's going to stop is if the Republicans start losing elections. But on the Democrat side, the story is, can Blythe Potter, who has run a very good campaign for the limited resources she has, can she do enough damage to Bai where he walks out of there going, now I got to waste time and money consolidating my party? If he has to do that, he's in trouble. He's in trouble. By the way, I don't know if you guys know this. I have separated both of my shoulders throughout my life. And so, I think they're hanging on by a thread. So anytime I, have to move my shoulders, it's always a real stretch whether it'll stay in place. It's been a long time. Totally separate things. The separation of the shoulders not related. But I guarantee if somebody did some sort of x-ray, they'd just be hanging in there by a thread. Let's see. All the times I've separated my shoulder. I fell and did it originally. I did it again during basketball. I did it during basketball again, and then I fell out of a tree and did it. Same shoulder, all left shoulder. I became a master popping it back into place. The first time you do it, if you've never, and by the way, people are on Apple and Spotify are like, what the hell is he talking about? I had to stretch back to itch my back. For those of you on the Apple and Spotify, that's where we're at with this. See, that's when you don't see the fabulous visual. You miss out, right? But because the first time you separate your shoulder, it's freaky. Your shoulder literally drops down, right? It drops into your arm, and your arm feels like it weighs 10 million pounds. And then you do it, and then you accidentally learn how to pop your shoulder back into place. The first time I did it, you go to the emergency room, and I already popped it back into place. There's there's nothing for us to do. And you're probably doomed forever. So congratulations. But then afterwards, each time, you're just there's a moment of panic. Then you're I've done this before. You pop it back in, and you go about your day. The right shoulder, I fell ice skating and did it. And again, people are freaking out on the ice skating rink. I'm I got this. Bam. Back into place. I'm probably going to lose my arms as I get older or something. I don't know. But anyway, this is the great thing about a podcast. I can just derail myself and then get back in the swing of things. So that's the drama or lack thereof at the Democrat convention. Does Bai come out of there? If he gets 70% or more, bam, he's rolling, right? If he gets 70% or more, you kind of feel like if you're a Democrat, you got to get on board. You tried your best. You tried to stop him. You tried to be a nuisance. You tried to be a pain in the ass, and he just overwhelmed you. And he is your best chance in a decade and a half of winning a public office, statewide public office. You got to go with him. That's the conversation there. The Republicans, it's a whole new level of crazy, right? They have no idea who their nominee is going to be. Is their nominee going to be the guy that all the people who were for him and then abandon him and then they got to go back to him? Diego, look, I'm telling you right now, if I were a delegate, and you guys know nobody loathes Morales more than me, but if I were a delegate, I almost think I got to vote for Diego, right? If your goal, if you're like me, and there's a ton of, don't kid yourself, there's a ton of people who go to that convention who are like me, who hate the Republicans. They hate the Republicans. They hate what they become. They hate how they've been lied to. If you are a chaos merchant, you got to vote for Diego, right? Because the best way for the Republican Party to go down is for Diego to be the nominee. if you want Diego, if you want the Republicans to go down, if you believe they need to be punished for years of deceit and betrayal, sounds like something they do like in the old times, right? You are being imprisoned for deceit and betrayal. You got to go with Diego. I mean, Shelton is by far the most competent. If you're one of those decent people who just wants to nominate the most competent person, you got to go with Shelton. But if you're like, I just want to raise some hell, you got to consider going with Diego. Go, Diego, go. And of course, in the center of all of this is this Jim Banks guy, Max Engling, who nobody was thinking about a month ago, and now he's the golden boy and the next Reagan. And this is like tragically laughable. By the way, you know who the most important person in all of this could end up being? Is Jamie Rittenauer. Because she will get, like everybody underestimates Rittenauer. Remember, Rittenauer got those signatures to run for governor. She's the fourth person running. And nobody thought she could do that. And then she beat Curtis Hill in vote total in the Republican primary. She didn't get last. Like, with no money, she surprised everyone. Rittenauer's going to get votes. And what's going to be fascinating is, if indeed, as many people believe, she will be the low vote getter on the first ballot, which that doesn't mean it's going to be that way. But if she is, where do her votes go? Because, like, if you're Shelton, let's just play this out, right? And this is why I love our podcast. We could do this, and it's so much fun. If, let's say the order after the first vote, and I don't know if it would be this way, but if the first vote is Engling, Diego, Shelton, Rittenauer, in that order. And for those of you who don't know, the way it works is the low vote getter drops off. So you vote, everybody, all the delegates go vote. Whoever gets last, they drop off. And then you, as a voter of that person, then you got to decide where you're going. Usually the candidate will make a recommendation. Hey, if you were one of my voters, please go vote for fill in the blank. There's a world, because we know Rittenauer can't stand Morales, and you know, based on that interview, she don't like Engling. There's a world where Shelton could hop from third on the first ballot to second easily past Diego. Because if Rittenauer gets enough and Shelton stays in the game, and then he's the non-offensive guy, he could easily go to second. And then if he's second and Diego loses, let's say Diego's the low guy on the third vote. This is why I don't think I'm going to Fort Wayne. It's too long. It's too much. It's like going to be a 10-hour day. I don't got time for that, because you got to drive there for 2.5 hours. Then you got to drive back for 2.5 hours. It's a 14-hour day, and it's Saturday at the U.S. Open. I'm out. Too much effort. Unless somebody wants to write me a huge check. Then maybe I go. Are we allowed to talk about that yet? Yeah. Are we? Yeah. Okay, later. We got a big surprise for you guys about the convention, though. I want to save that for tomorrow. We're saving that for tomorrow. I don't think I'm going, but we got a big surprise for you guys. I think it's a big surprise, and it's my show. You have your 20 minutes at the end of every show. You do it how you want. I think that's hilarious what we're going to do, or is being done for us. But anyway, there's a world where Shelton ends up third on the first ballot and then ends up winning the whole thing. Because Morales ain't going to give his votes to Engling. No way. Anyway, Max Engling is so interesting to me because it really shows how these politicians and the minions that back them up, the yes men, the stooges, the people who usually want something, oftentimes like a job, they have no shame whatsoever. Because they have taken this guy who was just basically like a paper pusher in Banks' office, a local guy, and they've made him the reincarnation of Reagan. And many of these people are so shameless that they publicly endorse Diego. Oh, you got to vote for Diego. He's great. By the way, the thing many of these people are pissed off about Shelton is that John Rust supports him. Think about that. That's how pathetic this all is. Not that Shelton's not the most competent, not that he wouldn't be best for the job, but Rust is behind Shelton. I can't let that happen. Why? Because they hate Rust. They hate Rust because Rust is a threat, because he don't like any of them, and he's an actual conservative, and he's got infinite money. And that's a real threat. He's basically me, but he's rich. He's basically me, but he's rich. So England, though, they've had to, the same way they lied about Diego for years, the same way they lied right to your face about Diego, they now have to start lying about England. Except that the lie with Diego was, oh, Diego's great, he's a this, he's a that, he's a blah, blah, blah. Well, now with England doesn't have scandal. Scandal isn't attached to him. But they've got to make him some sort of modern-day freedom fighter. He's going to take on, he'll close the primaries. He doesn't have a vote. He was for redistricting. He doesn't have a vote. He's going to go after the truckers. He doesn't have a say. The Secretary of State is an administrator of the will of the General Assembly. That's it. That's all the Secretary of State does. It's an administrative position. It shouldn't be political. It should not be political. And the problem is, it's nothing but political. Or at least it has been for the last several years. There should be no politics. General Assembly says do this, you do it. That's it. Boom, done. Same as the treasurer. Now the treasurer's got, these guys have some boards and stuff they sit on, they vote, right? But in terms of the day-to-day nuts and bolts of the job, you do what the General Assembly says. You don't like it, don't do the job. So the Capitol Chronicle sat down with Max Engling. And in just a moment, I'm going to tell you about this interview because he said things, again, that we've said. So we take it now as truth. We take it as the absolute truth. If he's going to keep saying it, we're going to take him at his word. But before we do that, guys, it's Thursday. That means it's loaded baked potato day at Double D's Barbecue. Double D's Barbecue, located in Clayton, authentic wood-smoked Memphis-style barbecue. Guys, Double D's is outstanding. So many of you have gone, you raved about it, you said how great the food is, you said how great the service is, and you said how great the atmosphere is, which is important. It's Elvis-themed. Tina, one of the owners, she worked at Graceland. Oh, yeah, it's all Elvis. They're open Wednesday through Saturday. All the food made from scratch. And by the way, Double D's, they bring receipts. Winners of both best ribs and best sauce at Rib Fest in Hendricks County. It's loaded baked potato day today. If you want to make plans for tomorrow, Friday or Saturday, Mississippi farm-raised catfish. Guys, it is great. Everyone who's gone has just loved it. They've loved everything about it. See it for yourself. Check out their website, ribs, brisket, and more. Just a little bit of a drive right there on 40 into Clayton. Ribs, brisket, and more. ddbbq317.com. ddbbq317.com. All right, so the Capitol Chronicle sat down with Max Engling. And he has now admitted for the second time that he's only running because Jim Banks gave him permission. And that's a really big deal. Here's what the Capitol Chronicle had to say. Quote, Engling claims, so what happened basically was this, or what Engling claims, and I think it's probably accurate. About a month ago, probably, I don't know, time's probably a little off, but about a month ago, people started reaching out to him about running for Secretary of State. And it's probably not far off because people were pitching his name to me before he decided he was running for Secretary of State. And again, my response was, you mean the guy that got smoked when he ran for U.S. House? You mean the guy that lost his delegates race? That's your guy? Okay, well, like I said, an aged potato skin is better than Diego, so go for it, right? If that's the best you can do. And like people were getting desperate. I'm not going to tell you who told me this because it came from numerous different people, but they were like throwing anything against the wall. They were like, do you think Tony Katz would want to do it? No, Katz was my suggestion. Guy Relford was the one they threw out. I said Katz. I said Katz talks all the time about wanting to be in political office. If you handed him a free ride, he might take it. Maybe they didn't reach out to him. But they were like, it was all sorts of names, right? And they were desperate for somebody. And this is what's laughable to me, like when they're asking him, like they're anointing him the golden boy, the next great freedom fighter, the next Reagan. It's like, you guys were throwing out all sorts of names. I threw Katz out as a joke, and they're like, yeah, we'll call him. Like, it's laughable. They were trying to get anyone to do this because they don't believe in Shelton, and they believe Diego's going to lose the office. So I trust Engling on his timeline here that he basically claims a while ago people came to him and were talking to him about the idea of running for this office. Here's what the Capitol Chronicle wrote. England claims he downplayed the Secretary of State talk because Banks had already endorsed Morales for re-election and, quote, I'm not going to run out in front of that. Guys, he's admitting he's only doing this because Jim Banks gave him permission. That tells you exactly how he's going to handle the office. Whatever Jim Banks or the people affiliated with Jim Banks wants, that's what he'll do. Not about you. Not about going to fight for you. Not about going to bat for you. If he wanted this job, if someone came to him and was like, Max, you'd be great at this job. Studied a little bit. All right, I'm in. I can do this. A, B, and C is why I get in. I'm in. Let's go to bat. Let's fight. He didn't do that. He went to Banks. And Banks was for Diego before he was against Diego. You know, Jim Banks is the new John Kerry. Remember John Kerry? I'm for the war before I'm against it. When the Iraq stuff was going on, Banks is like, I was for Diego before I was against him. However, England then admits once Banks pulled his endorsement from Diego, he was all in. Quote, he said to me, well, if you're prepared to go, we can't do this anymore as far as the current Secretary of State. And if you're ready to go, I'm fully behind you. Let's go. Again, acknowledging the complete subserviency to Jim Banks. Is that how he's going to administer the office? If the legislature passes a law and Banks doesn't like it, we're not going to do it? Does he have to call Jim Banks and say, hey, Banksy, well, what do you think about this? What if he thinks the General Assembly, because one of the jobs of the Secretary of State will be to weigh in on issues of the General Assembly. Now, once they pass them, it's your job to administer it. But you get a say in whether you like the law, want the law, don't want the law, whatever. What if there's something that's good for the state and Banks and his donors don't want it? Is Max Engling going to stand up to Banks and do what's right for us? According to this, he's all in because Banks. Engling comes off in this entire interview, you can read it for yourself over the Capitol Chronicle, as a guy who just wants the position and the title. And that's what we have with the current guy. Power, position, title. Now, I don't think Engling is, maybe I'm giving him too much credit, I don't think he's a walking, talking scandal like Diego. And I meant it when I said, and I've said this for years, an aged potato skin would be better than Diego. That's such a low bar to hop over. But he doesn't come off as a guy that wants to fight for you. He doesn't want to take on hard issues. They only want to stop Diego and fix whatever issue. I mean, Diego is about sweeping Diego under getting rid of Diego is about sweeping Diego under the rug. That's it. Diego's pulled so much crap that they need to get rid of him. They think he's going to lose in the fall, and they know the more the media digs, because if Diego goes out of there, the media will stop digging. They know how it works. But they can't risk Diego getting exposed because too many of these guys potentially get implicated because of the money and the association. Engling is not going to be a fighter, guys. He's not going to be anything other than a yes man to Banks. And this is what this is about. This is about Banks taking over the Republican Party, which is wild that Braun is just letting it happen. I mean, that's part of why Braun won't say anything bad about Diego. Why Braun wouldn't tell Diego to get out, because he knows what they're doing. Here's the other thing that no one's talking about. And if I were Shelton, if I were Diego, if I were Rittenhour, I would be beating the hell out of this guy over this, and none of them are talking about it. Engling, who, by the way, this article says he's 39. I thought he was like 30. Why do some people win the genetic lottery? Yeah, like you. Like, you think about this. If it's Engling and it's bi, you've got two beautiful people and then Ballard. Hey, Grandpa, you're going to need to shed a few LBs before the campaign standing next to these two guys. Like, I've always thought that. Why do some people just win life's genetic lottery? He's 39. I apologize. I called him a kid. I thought he was like 12. He's basically my age. Sorry, Max. There's a bunch of stuff I've said that I don't regret at all about you. I do regret that. I'm sorry. You are a full-grown adult. Quote, nobody's talking about the fact that Engling, before being subservient to Banks, was subservient to Kevin McCarthy. You guys remember Kevin McCarthy, right? He was the Speaker of the House, an awful, rotten turd. He was the Republican leader in the Senate in the minority. He was an awful, rotten turd at that, too. This guy was like a right-hand dude to McCarthy. Quote, the 39-year-old Engling, who is now on leave from Banks' office to campaign full-time, that must be nice, right? Hey, I have this cush government job. I can just leave it for a month to do the boss's bidding, and then if I lose, I can just go back to my cush government job. That's wild, right? Isn't that what the Terre Haute guy, oh, what's his name? The Greg Good. Damn, I was having a Daniel Elliott moment there. Greg Good, isn't that what he did? He works for Young. Didn't he like leave the office to go campaign? And is he back now? Well, that's a hell of a job. I couldn't have done that in the radio. I could do it here. Maybe I'll run for statewide public office to boost my podcast. Maybe that'll be my next endeavor. Because radio, you gots to leave because of the equal time stuff. Maybe I'll run for governor. Hey, if Ballard gets the Lincoln Party on the ballot, maybe I'll run as Lincoln Party governor to boost the podcast, and then I'll accidentally screw up and win. How about that? That would be that would be an awesome campaign move. Run for governor. You got the Lincoln Party that gets the primary ballot access, so we get Boy, I'm thinking of this on the fly. I should have thought of this years ago. Okay, here's how this goes down, guys. For those of you who are always like, Rob Kendall needs to run for governor. Ballard gets the 10%. So Ballard gets on the ballot, he gets the 10%. That means you got primary ballot access. I'll get some money to run in the primary because I'll get millions in earned media off of that. We win in that primary, and then I use it to boost the podcast. And we use the podcast to boost the run for governor. What do you think? Sure. That sounds brilliant. It also sounds like a lot of work. I'm past doing a lot of work for anyone but myself these days. What do you guys think? But what a cush job, right? He doesn't have to worry about losing his job. Hey, Banksy, I'm going to go do your bidding for Secretary of State. If I lose, I got a position when I come back, right? Had a dozen years of previous Capitol Hill experience, talking about Engling here, had a dozen years of previous Capitol Hill experience as a U.S. House Committee Republican staffer who advanced to become an aide to then Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy. Why is no one running against him talking about how he was a right-hand guy to McCarthy who is hated by Republicans? Why am I the only one talking about this? Those delegates hate Kevin McCarthy. Why would we let him get away with that? Ridnour, you got some stone. Well, she doesn't have stones, but you're the most closest one to having stones of these people. Diego, come on, man. They're trying to take your livelihood away from you. They're trying to dethrone you as the head of Corruption R Us. You're going to let England get away with not only being a McCarthy aide, he's proud of it. Listen to what he said. I'm very appreciative of all the opportunities that he's given me. He's talking about McCarthy. He knows that. I think it's more of you have a pretty limited window to say to folks hear what you did and how you did it and how it makes sense in the Secretary of State's role as far as what you've done. But I certainly appreciate the opportunity that he gave me. He's all in on McCarthy. Holy smokes. That's a freebie. You guys got to get all over that. Hey, guys, buying a home or you're thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Work with our guy, Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage. He helps home buyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple. Clear advice, personalized guidance so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes. Loansbygary.homes to learn more to get started today. Or you can call him, 317-695-5179. You got nothing to lose with this, guys. This is the great thing about it. Here's how it works. You call Gary up, 317-695-5179. Or go to loansbygary.homes. You say, Gary, my name is Alice. Or my name is Fred. Or my name is Harold. And I'm a Rob Kendall Show fan. And then he'll go, awesome, so am I. That's why I give him money to sponsor his podcast. And then you'll say, Gary, I heard about you on Rob's show. Here's my situation. Here's my loan. Here's my mortgage. Here's what I'm paying. Can you beat it? And Gary will say, give me a few. I'll get back to you. And then Gary does whatever he does, and he calls the mortgage industry mafia or whoever those people are, and then he crunches some numbers, and then he calls you back, and he says, Harold or Alice or Frank or Tony, here's what I can do for you. And if it's better and it's cheaper, you do it. And if you don't, you say, Gary, you're a swell guy. Thanks for trying. Thanks for supporting Rob. You have a great day. And you made a friend. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Loansbygary.homes. 317-695-5179. 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage. NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender. All right, we'll take a break. We got a lot more to get to. We got whole hour of stuff for you guys. YouTube comments, crazy polling in Ohio that should have every Republican scared to death. We've got what the Republicans did on the war powers deal with Iran. Oh, man. 3 hours a day. The way only we can do it. We'll take a break. We'll be back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Hi, I'm Lauren Wilson, Realtor with App Properties. I would love to get to know you. I know that buying and selling a home is a really big deal. You need a plan in place so you can succeed. And that's where I come in. If you are buying, let me help you find that perfect home. And if you are selling, let me help you find that perfect buyer. Look, we're all Rob Kendall Show fans here. That's why I'd love to get to know you. I'm Lauren Wilson, Realtor with App Properties, an Army veteran and a Hoosier through and through. Call me at 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Hey guys, It's a Rob Kendall Show. Thanks so much for joining us. If you haven't done so yet, play along on Twitter, at Rob M. Kendall. I got a Twitter account. I just stopped promoting that for some reason. Once we started this podcast, like I was all into Twitter there for a few months when I was in my bedroom every day. And now it's like, I forget to even tell people I have a Twitter account. If you like what we do here, we keep a lot of our conversations going on over there at Rob M. Kendall on Twitter, at Rob M. Kendall on Twitter. Would appreciate a follow. And if you haven't done so yet, hit that little thumbs up button, the little like ski. Really helps us grow the program. We already are over 200 today. Thanks to everybody who's already been a part of it. That really helps us grow this show. Two other housekeeping items, and then we're going to get to this crazy polling in Ohio. And Ohio is important because Ohio looks like Indiana. Ohio in many ways looks like Indiana. Don't forget, we have a support button. RobKendallShow.com. If you like me being your advocate for good government, for better government, for the sort of government that you deserve, and taking on the politicians and being your voice, well, we do it for free because we love you, but we don't turn down money if people are going to throw it at us. We have a support button at RobKendallShow.com. $1, $10, $10,000, whatever it is. We appreciate you guys supporting our show. We put the money to good use. You guys are awesome. All right. Also, RobKendallShow.com. We have the live link, the link to the live show. We're doing a live show June the 27th, Mad Hatter Comedy Club, Event Center in Greenwood. We're going to rock your socks off. We're going to laugh. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have fun. We're going to roast politicians. And you get a chance to meet all of these fabulous people that are a part of the Rob Kendall Show universe. Got to get your tickets, though. We try to make it super affordable. We'll make it fun. And it's a chance for you to give back to the show that has given so much to you and give something to yourself. Rob Kendall Show, live event, June the 27th, Mad Hatter Comedy Club, Event Center in Greenwood. Join us there. Okay, let's get to this polling in Ohio. And this is interesting to me for a couple of reasons. Now, look, we're very, very adamant about this all the time. Polling is a snapshot of a moment in time. It is not a gospel. It is not an end-all, be-all. It is, as they say in pro wrestling, card subject to change. It can change like that, and you got to use a variety of polls to give you the picture that you're looking for on where people are at. But I think Ohio is interesting. First of all, one, this is a Fox News poll. So it's not CNN, it's not CBS. You can't say, oh, it's a crazy liberal polling firm. It's Fox News. It also is Ohio. And Ohio, while not, exactly the same as Indiana, it in many ways kind of mirrors the state, or at least close you're going to get to. It's a red state. It's a Midwest state. It's got most of its statewide office holders are Republican, maybe all of them. Its two senators are Republican. Its House members, the majority of them, are Republican. So at least from an electoral makeup, it looks a lot like Indiana. And so I thought this was because sometimes when we do the national polling, you say, well, New York, California, blah, blah, blah. What do people know, right? And even though they try to get it right from a scientific polling standpoint, there's different ways people look at it and say, well, it's not a reflection of the country, whatever. I think Ohio is a good reflection of us here in Indiana. And I think Ohio is a good reflection of the country because it's a Trump plus 11 state. It really hits home to us here in Indiana, and it's a good reflection of the country because, or at least the Republican part of the country, because it's a Trump plus 11 state. So you can't say it's New York, it's Vermont, it's California, Washington. So it's a state Trump won easily. By a 15-point margin, the residents of Ohio, according to this Fox News poll, view Trump negatively. 42% hold a favorable opinion, 57% an unfavorable one. Guys, that's that's like a 26-point swing, right? If you were plus 11, you won plus 11, and you're minus 15. It's a 20-point swing compared to his plus 6 positive rating in November of 24. So when he won the election, not just the results of the election, but his favorability. And one of the things we talked about with Trump, guys, and one of the things I don't think either Trump has never recognized or just ignored, knows it and ignores it or whatever, is so many of Trump's voters were people who voted for him as the lesser of two evils. As in, not I'm voting for Trump because I love Trump, but I'm voting for Trump because I can't stand the other option. Trump was very blessed in his two victories to run against the two worst nominees in major party history: Kamala Harris, Hillary Clinton. Trump's popularity across the country never got above 50%, during those elections. It was always like, how could Trump win being in the 40s? Because the other people were even more disliked. And so I think even after in a red state like Ohio, which was a plus 11 state, his favorability rating was only plus 6 when he won the election in the state, which shows what I've said for years. A lot of people voted for Trump who did not like Trump. So this poll was released on Wednesday, so it's current. Trump's rating, and this is where this gets very interesting, is almost identical to John Husted. Husted, Husted. He's the incumbent who's up for re-election. He was the guy who was appointed to the seat when Vance became the vice president. His favorability rating is only 41%. 50% unfavorable. His challenger, and we've talked about this before, guys, don't doubt the show. Sherrod Brown is running against him. Sherrod Brown was a U.S. Senator for years who got beat in 22. Is that right? He got beat in 22. Is that right? Or is it 24? They all run together. He was a senator for years. He just recently got beat, and then he decided, I'm running again. The Democrat. He's viewed significantly more positive, 53% versus 44. So the Republican incumbent, 41-50 underwater. The Democrat challenger, former senator, 53-44. Positive. In the head-to-head matchup, Brown outperforms the incumbent, the Republican incumbent, 53-45. So they were like, is the election were held today, who would you vote for? 53 for the Democrat, 45 for the Republican. That's bad news. And it really mirrors up with results we're seeing in like North Carolina. Now, there's no incumbent running in North Carolina, but it's been a Republican seat for a while. Tom Tillis, the Republican, not running again. The Republican there is a Trump guy, and he's getting smoked by Democrat Roy Cooper, who is the current governor. You're seeing a trend here with this. By a 6-point margin, more Democrats, and now we get into the internals of these polls, which is very interesting. By a 6-point margin, more Democrats, 82%, than Republicans, 76%, say they're extremely or very motivated to vote this November. Most of Brown's supporters, 68%, Sherrod Brown, the Democrat, describe their vote as mainly for him rather than against the incumbent. Those who back the incumbent, Houston, are less enthusiastic about their candidate, with 58% saying their support is mainly for him rather than against Brown. Look, that's bad news. That's something most people don't pay attention to. It's a really bad deal. It's a really big deal. The person who people vote for tend to get people to show up. Voting against someone is a bad feeling. It's a bad feeling to be able to say, I'm only voting for this person because I'm against the other person. A lot of people just stay home. And in terms of enthusiasm, Democrats have a clear advantage in Ohio, a state Trump won by 11 points. And here, another alarming statistic, 46% of the people surveyed worry that the incumbent is too close to President Trump, including 10% of the people who are voting for him. Among the people surveyed, inflation is the overwhelming issue that is dominating the electorate. Inflation is the top issue saying it is the most important issue in their Senate vote. 43%. Not even close. 43%. The second closest is healthcare, 12%. Immigration to border security is third at 11%. And then nothing, like, it's not even close. It's 4-1. Voters focused on inflation favor Braun, the Democrat challenger, by 14 points. Guys, I know some of you get mad when I'm critical of Trump, but I'm critical of Trump because I'm telling you where the people are, and I want it to be fixed. When I bitch and bitch and bitch about inflation, which I know sometimes gets repetitive, I do that because polling shows it's the issue. Poll after poll shows, even in red states, it's the issue. When I talk about printing money, about government spending, I know that's the driver of inflation. I know inflation is the issue, and I know inflation is gonna be a disaster at the ballot box for Republicans. I don't know how many times Trump and the Trump administration and the Republicans in Congress have to see this. Now it's playing out in red states before they go, okay, yeah, we got to stop printing money. And when we say stop printing money, we got to stop spending money. It keeps hitting them in the face, and they keep not doing anything about it. By the way, it's also playing into the governor's race. In the governor's race, Amy Acton is the Democrat. She's essentially tied with Ramaswamy, the Republican. 50 for the Democrat, 49 for the Republican. Guys, this is not some imaginary thing. People are really pissed off about inflation. They're really pissed off in Democrat states about inflation and in Republican states about inflation. Ohio is very similar to Indiana. Now, I'm not saying Democrats are going to win a bunch of races in Indiana this fall. I'm not saying that. They don't have a Senate race, but they do have things like these Secretary of State's races. And Democrats making inroads, winning some state Senate races, winning some House races, breaking the supermajorities. Bo Bai winning the Secretary of State's race. It all could be a buildup to something much bigger in Indiana. I'm not saying it's going to be. I'm saying it could be. And I'm saying when you see red states going blue in their polling, and the issues that I've been talking about are showing up in the polling in red states, don't sleep on it. Don't treat it lightly. Guys, you got a masonry color mismatch? Is a previous repair catching your eye? If you're not happy with the brick color on your home and ready for a total makeover, Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants offer specialized masonry, staining, and recoloring. Whether you want to seamlessly blend repairs or completely transform your home's exterior, you want to build something new? Bramwell Mackay's 40-year master masons design and construct custom patios, sidewalks, outdoor summer kitchens, archways, entryways, and more. Bramwell Mackay. BRAMWELLMCKAY, beauty built to endure. All right. As you guys know, our final segment of the day is the YouTube chat, brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. And what we do is we take the best YouTube comments of the day. Jason, producer Jason, makes the show possible. He monitors the YouTube comments all day. You're being watched, just like you're being watched everywhere else. And then at the end of the show, we spend final minutes making you a star, because you are the star of this program. And we want to focus on you, and then that prompts me. You guys say things, and it prompts me to respond to them. So if you got a comment you want read, get it in now. And this next topic is for comments, because I'm curious where you guys come down on this. WTHR had the article. The minimum age to get a driver's license in Indiana is about to drop. On Wednesday, so yesterday, the Indiana BMV and Governor Mike Braun announced that new drivers will soon be able to get their license on their 16th birthday, 90 days earlier than the previous minimum age. Where are you guys at with this? Now, when I was a kid, it was 16. 16 years old, you get the driver's license. And then at some point, they raised it to 16 years and 90 days. And now they're reverting it back to 16 years. Quote, getting a driver's license is an important milestone for young Hoosiers and their families. This common sense change gives families more flexibility while maintaining the strong safety standards and training requirements that help keep Indiana roads safe. Now, all the standards are the same. All the requirements, the test, all of that stuff is still the same. And by the way, a parent or legal guardian or other adult must sign an agreement of financial liability for the 16-year-old in order to get their license now. But where are we at with this? Are we in favor of making it easier for younger people to get their driver's license? And, because we just did the conversation about the truckers, right, the other day? We just did the conversation about the truckers and about how unsafe the roads appear to get. And by the way, our trucker guys backed us up. Because I said, there's a lot of great truckers, right? There's a lot of people who do the Lord's work and move goods from sea to shining sea, and they're awesome. I said, there appear to be a lot of people that are kind of squirrels on the roadways. And our guy like C. Mills and our other truckers backed us up. Yeah, there are a lot of crappy truck drivers. But where are you guys at with this? I've always had the theory on all the stuff. Whatever we decide the age is, it's the age for everything. Like, to me, it's ridiculous. Smoking a cigarette is this age, and drinking a beer is this age, and driving is this age, and consenting to sex is this age, and being an adult is this age, or a vote is this age. Like, why? Whatever age it is, you're an adult, you can do all the things. How is it you're an adult enough to vote, to decide the idiots that are going to run our country into the ground, but you can't drink a beer? My thing has always been, whatever age we decide you're old enough to drive a multi-ton piece of metal that can harm you and everybody else around you, including people who have nothing to do with you, that's the age you're an adult for all the stuff. If we see that's 18, fine. I'm fine with that. If you say it's 21, I'm fine with that. If you say it's 16, I guess I'm okay with that. I've always thought whatever age you can drive the car in which you can harm not only yourself, but innocent people around you, that's the age you're an adult. You can drink the beer, smoke the cigarette, vote, decide who you want to engage in interpersonal relations with. Whatever age we say that is, that's the adult. Because that's a very adult thing to be able to drive a car and potentially harm other people around you. But what do you guys think? What's your view on when you should be able to drive a car? And how about the other stuff? Let us know in the YouTube chat. Curious to get your thoughts on it. Do you line up with me? Do you view it differently than me? All right, I'm going to take our final break. By the way, our third hour, brought to you by John Rust, fabulous friend of the program. He was like, I want you to do a third hour. I was like, but then I'd have to go sell it. He's like, no, you won't. I'll take care of it. I was like, thank you. John Rust, fabulous friend of our show. Our billboards that you see on 65 and 69, brought to you by John Rust. So thank you to him for making this third hour possible. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we will talk about what went down yesterday with the Iran war power vote. Fascinating stuff. And then producer Jason, he's going to put his smiling face on camera, and he's going to read the best YouTube comments of the day, which will no doubt spark more absolutely incredible conversation. We'll take a break. Be back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
If authentic wood-smoked barbecue is your thing, Double D's Barbecue in Clayton is the place for you. Owners Dennis and Tina Duncan, along with their son Garrett, are from Memphis. So when it comes to barbecue, they're not screwing around. No pellet smokers, no roasters, just authentic wood-smoked Memphis-style barbecue. All of Double D's food is cooked fresh daily, and it's all made from scratch. Double D's Barbecue, located at 40 and 39 in Clayton, is open all day, Wednesday through Saturday, but get there early because once they're sold out, they're done. Check out the full menu, ribs, brisket, and more at ddbbq317.com.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance. so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
With a lakefront view in beautiful Brazil, the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage is a little out of the way, but totally worth the trip. Down home, made from scratch food, just like the good old days at Grandma's. When you visit the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage, you'll leave more at peace than when you came in. Open 5 to 8 for dinner on Friday and Saturday, and Sundays 11 to 1:30 for the buffet. You must experience the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage. Call 812-443-3003. 812-443-3003.
Your bathroom fan could be secretly costing you thousands of dollars in damages. Most people don't even know this until the damage is done. With over 18 years of bathroom remodeling experience, here are 3 signs your fan is failing you without spending a dime on inspections. Sign number 1 is if you have foggy mirrors after you shower. This shows that your fan isn't pulling out enough moisture, which creates the perfect environment for mold. If you have a properly functioning bathroom fan that is the right size for your space, you shouldn't see much fogginess on your bathroom mirror at all. Sign number 2 is if you have bubbling, cracking, or peeling paint in your bathroom. This means moisture is soaking into your walls, slowly breaking down drywall, and even causing the wood framing behind it to rot. Sign number 3 is if you have mold buildup on your fan, ceilings, or walls. This is terrible for your health, but also could wreck your bathroom, costing you a fortune. If you're noticing any of these signs, here's what you can do.
Call Vent Savvy today at 317-300-4434. That's 317-300-4434, and mention Rob for a free attic inspection.
Welcome back. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Lots to get to. Just a few moments. You guys are going to be the star. That's what we do at the end of every show. If you're a subscriber, you're eligible to participate in the YouTube chat. Jason monitors the chat throughout the course of the day. He takes the best comments, and we have big old conversations about that. You know, it's like in the olden days. You know what I remember? You know, sort of formulate this idea for me? When I was a kid, Amos Brown. You remember Amos Brown? The local commentator. He's on the radio and TV. He used to have like a local TV show. I think it was on Channel 40. And I used to love as a kid, and it did not dawn on you at the time, but like you could always get on the show, probably because there was like nobody watching it and they were desperate for callers. But I used to love to watch Amos Brown and his like public affairs show he had in the middle of the day. I used to love Summer Break. This is what a nerd I was as a kid. I remember 11, 12 years old, and I remember calling the Amos Brown show, and you'd be able to get on and ask questions. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And so I thought, well, we ought to do that for people now. Except we don't have a phone line set up. So we'll just let you make the comments in the YouTube chat, and we'll make you the star that way. All right, we'll get to that in a second. But first, a couple of things. Jason is desperately trying to figure out how that camera is going to work with the sign. Jason has spent 3 hours trying to figure out when he pops in here how to get his camera, his picture on the thing without covering up the sign and be looking at me while he's doing it. So it's been a real work. We'll see if we can figure it out here in just a moment. But first, hey, Lauren Wilson, she's our gal. Realtor with At Properties. She would love the opportunity to get to know you, to get to work for you, to be an advocate for you. That's what you need. When you're buying or selling a home, you need a teammate, a trusted advisor, a confidant, somebody who can tell you you're about to make a horrible move. Don't do that. Like every life decision I've ever made that Jason's been a part of. Hey, don't do that. Or I wish I'd had somebody to stop me when Jason told us we should buy a radio station. I needed Lauren Wilson. Realtor with At Properties. 317-590-2290. And in fairness, it's all my fault. I agreed to buy a thing I'd never seen before. Yeah, it sounds great. It'll be awesome. The last thing we did together went awesome, so why won't this one? Sure, right. My old man, that seems like a horrible idea. Oh, you don't know anything. You thought the streaming company was a bad idea, too. 317-590-2290. Get an advocate that will hopefully protect you from making a horrible mistake, like buying a radio station half a country away. 317-590-2290. That's Lauren Wilson, our great friend, big supporter of the show, realtor with At Properties. All right, before Jason comes on and screams at me, the House of Representatives voted yesterday, finally, to force the president of the United States to end the Iran war. Now, these people are the worst because this resolution, it's designed as a concurrent resolution. Now, this is the games that these people play. The House basically knew we weren't going to get enough votes to for an actual ending of the Iran war. So we'll pass what we call a concurrent resolution, which means it'll require both approval from the House and the Senate, but it never goes to the White House for the president's signature, so it never actually becomes law. You guys remember Schoolhouse Rock, right? Like, I'm just a bill sitting on Capitol Hill, hoping I pray that I will, but today I'm just a bill. You got to get the House and the Senate and the president's signature for a bill to become law. And if it gets vetoed, then it goes back to the House and the Senate, and there's new standards and blah, blah, blah. They knew they weren't ever going to get that, so in order to get enough people in the House to vote for a resolution, they just wanted something to get in the media, which I guess we're taking the bait here by talking about it. But to get it in the media, we're like, we'll pass what's called a concurrent resolution, which means it goes to the House, it passes. It goes to the Senate, if it passes. But it never goes to the president. So it never actually becomes the law. Even like veto, nothing. It never gets to the president. But in terms of the majority of people that said we want the Iran war to end, the final tally was 215 to 208. The Hill had a big article about it, which you can go read if you want the gory details. 4 Republicans, Massey of Kentucky, Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania, Tom Barrett of Michigan, and Warren Davidson of Ohio voted with every Democrat. This is the 4th time they've held a vote on it. They could not get the votes, enough Republicans, and there was a Democrat who voted against it. But they changed some of the language around. They went to this concurrent resolution thing, and they got their votes. Look, it's not about whether – what are we doing? That's my question with Iran. I don't know about you guys. That's my question. What the hell are we doing? Like, every day there never seems to be any progress. Are we bombing them? Okay, we're doing that. Hey, right. You can like it. You can not like it. You agree with it, disagree with it. We're doing something, right? Bombs away. Rockets, red glare, lots of bombs in the air. Iranian leaders are going squish. Iranian nuclear goes squish. Okay, paying more for gas. Got it. But I'm doing that anyway right now. Right now, I don't know what we're doing, and that's what angers me. And we never get any direction from the administration about what we're doing. Oh, it's a great deal. Best deal ever. It's going to be amazing. You guys are going to love it. Tad would love it if he was still here. Tad would love it. Tad. And then there's no deal. Oh, yeah, Netanyahu. I told him he's a effing this and about. Like, he didn't say that publicly, but privately we were told that's what he, like, what are we doing? I'm paying more for gas. Everything's more expensive. This is a giant pain in the backside. But I don't know what's going on. I want to know what's going on. And yet, it just seems like it's the status quo every single day. And I think that's what's making people so angry. I don't think anybody's in dispute that Iran is a bunch of bad actors. I don't think anybody's in dispute that Iran is the world's largest state sponsor of terrorism, or one of them. I don't think anybody's in dispute that Iran wants us to have bad things happen. But this status quo stuff where bad things keep happening to us in terms of the affordability of life, yet nothing's happening to these guys, I think people are finally like, do it or don't. Either just cut the deal and open the strait up and go back to normal and let these guys be a bunch of horrible, rotten people and hope something bad doesn't happen to us, or just blow them to smithereens and do it and turn it into a parking lot. At least we'll get something for our money then. Right now, it just seems like the worst of all worlds. So it's pretty much standard operating procedure for the government. All right, are you ready to shine? No, you're not ready to shine. In just a moment, producer Jason will pop in here. He will read the best YouTube comments of the day. Now, this is actually a very important segment for a variety of reasons. Number one, it gives you the opportunity to have your voice heard. That is super important to us. That is one of the reasons we started this whole thing and what we are the advocate for you. And we want you to have a voice. And we know when you guys make comments and we read them, the politicians will hear them that way. The other part of it is it prompts me to have important discussions for the remainder of the show. Jason will say something, gets me to go off on something. A lot of fun to this. Only thing you got to do in order to be a part of the YouTube chat each day is be a subscriber to our channel and behave yourself. And with that.
So I'm like a human prompter.
That's right.
Awesome. All right.
Producer Jason, tell us about Black Sheep Plumbing.
I will tell you about Black Sheep Plumbing, Rob. Black Sheep Plumbing, if your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be in a world of hurt. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call Black Sheep Plumbing. John at Black Sheep Plumbing. He'll do the job right. And he has a military discount for all, discount for all military, firefighters, and police officers with an American Heroes discount, which I said 4 times there.
Hey, you got it repetitive, right? How many times? Don't you have to say a certain amount of times?
That is correct.
Drive it home?
Or you just screw up and try to do 3 things at once. Owner John McKinney is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Give John a call. Black Sheep Plumbing, 765-315-7558. Write this down, 765-315-7558.
You know why I love McKinney?
Plumbing.
He's on Twitter. He gets real mouthy on Twitter. I like McKinney. He brings the smoke. He's fun on Twitter. He comments all the time. I love John McKinney on Twitter. He's great and a hell of a plumber.
And, that's good that he's a good plumber. That would help the business cause.
So I like McKinney in this order, right? 1, he gives us money. That's what I like best. 2, he's a great plumber, so he provides a service to our fabulous listeners.
Right.
And 3, he's great on Twitter. He's not afraid to speak up and throw some smoke. That's the order in which I like things about McKinney.
Okay, so if I look here, I feel like I'm Greg Brady.
Yeah.
In the Brady Bunch. Right?
Yeah.
I don't like this. We got to figure something out here. Somebody suggested moving the sign over there, which is what I walked in this morning was going to do, and then I looked at it, and it's like, man, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't, as you know, Rob, you've seen me do it many times, I'll move everything around and be like, that's awful. And then I got to move it all back.
Yeah.
So I just took a break today, and
good for you.
Sitting on top of the sign.
Good for you. And here's the thing.
So we need Peter and Bobby, and then Jan, Marcia, and
Cindy.
There we go.
Yeah.
Good job. Yeah. Maybe Mom Kendall doing the shirts in the middle is Alice, perhaps.
You know, here's the thing. We get suggestions from people all the time, and they're all very well-meaning.
And usually very good suggestions. Usually better than our suggestions.
The problem is there's 2 of us, right? There's only like so many hours in the day.
People send Rob text all the time. You need to do this with your thumbs. You need to do this with the video. You need to do this in the middle of the show. And it's like, man, I wish I had that kind of talent, but we don't.
Yeah.
Well, we do. We just don't have the kind of time.
We need like enough money.
We don't have the talent.
We need enough money to hire somebody to do a lot of this stuff.
I don't know, because then you got to teach them and you got to show them, and it's just easier
true.
to do it as 2 people so that you don't have to. It's harder to train somebody than to just do it yourself.
It is. You're right. No, 100%.
In a mindless world like we live in.
No, you're right.
Yeah, okay.
You're 100%. All right, it's your job now to highlight some of the fine people who have.
The chat.
Yes.
We got a lot of new people in today from Shelbyville.
Welcome, Shelbyville.
I think I need to get out to Shelbyville. Now, the idea of this show was not for me to sit here and be a button pusher. It was to be a producer. Now, when Rob called and said, "Hey, I'm going to do this, but I want you with me," and as a producer, and I was like, "Well, first of all, I need to be executive producer because everybody in town is a producer.
That's right.
I want to be executive producer,
That's right.
And I don't want to sit here and just push buttons all day. And for the last 10, 12 weeks, that's part of what the growth. Right. But eventually, I'll get back out like I did when I went to Jasper and the fine folks down there in Du Bois County with the man on the street. We do the interviews. We talk to people. And I think I need to get to Shelbyville and talk with Connie and all the good people there about the data center.
People would love that. I'm so glad the last thing I did on IBC, we did it together.
That was the last 4 days you were on the air, and I was on there every day with you. And you know that pissed everybody off.
Yeah, that was great. And that was great. But it's totally worth it. It stopped that
could have been the
mid-stage
reason. It's like, if he's going to be bringing people like that into the building. That was great, though.
Yeah, it was great. I'm glad that's the last thing we did.
That was my last claim to fame, radio.
Now look at you.
Yeah, you needed to get another job so I can get back
Get another
on
radio
somehow.
job?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's get to it. Okay, the other interesting thing about the chat is we've kind of figured this out as we go. That, like, when I put up the live
logo.
The
link.
What I'm trying to say. When I create the broadcast, with
Yes.
YouTube, you create a broadcast, and then you actually punch in and do the broadcast.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
when I usually create it the night before, but I try to do it late so that we get maximum usage of that day's show, so people click that day's show.
Right.
And then usually around maybe 9 o'clock or so, I'll create the new show for the next day. And people have started figuring out that you can go there at that time and start commenting.
Yeah.
Now, those comments do delete at a later point. Now, today we thought they didn't delete because they didn't delete right away, but they do eventually go away.
And this is like, and I know I'm harping on this today, but the segment we're doing right now is very important to us because nobody else is giving you guys a voice. Like, we take this we don't take ourselves very serious, but we are very serious and committed to doing this. It's one of the reasons when I got the sponsor with Black Sheep Plumbing, so I knew we would continue to do it because you guys love it, and it's grown in popularity, and we got the thing now where at night you guys are commenting, and like, we love this segment. Like, it's not a throwaway thing to us. We do this because we get great value out of doing this segment.
Shrog Sandwich thinks I should get a promotion in my title.
Yes.
It should be Executive Producer Daddy the Belt Jason.
Yeah.
Sounds almost like a wrestling.
Daddy the Belt.
Daddy the Belt.
Yeah. Again, sounds like some of the customers that used to see your friends.
Yeah, we had to get on my friends. What?
Your friends at the club.
What about them?
Well, like they would have a nickname like Daddy the Belt or something.
It's
the customers.
Yeah, that's why it doesn't faze me at all. So last night, these are from last night. Okay, these are from last night.
But nobody listens, right?
They're just like, Rob's not here, doesn't matter. Let's all chat.
It's the little meaningless podcast, as we're always told.
Right. He's just irrelevant anyway.
Yeah.
He's just the podcaster. The Dutch Todd Gauk.
Oh.
The Dutch Todd Gauk.
Right.
First to like at 8:39 p.m. I hopped in because I was sitting there waiting, and I was like, all right, congrats, Todd. I see you.
Yep.
All right, so then the Spray Jockey comes on. Come on, my goal in life as a young boy was to be the first person to post to the Rob Kendall Show podcast 14 weeks, and I'm still failing.
For those of you who don't get that, for years on the radio show, and then I've carried it over here, I would come up with funny, inconceivable things that I wished for as a small boy related to modern events when I want people to do things like follow me on Twitter or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a long-running gag that we've had. And so he said that his goal as a small boy was to be the first commenter on the YouTube chat.
MLM Warriors senior producer. That sounds like I'm ready to retire.
Well,
I'm not ready to retire yet. I can't afford to retire.
No, you're stuck.
I'll be the old, feeble gray guy here.
You're stuck.
Rob, you're on.
Yeah, that's common in the radio business.
Yeah, I need paid. All right, MLM Warriors consoling Spray Jockey. You tried. All right, continue to try. Debbie Holcomb, you all don't know how much I love this. We are just the most awesome group of people.
That's right.
And as a reward to Rob and Jason for bringing us together, there are 7 likes at 12:40 a.m. Awesome.
That's good stuff.
Rock Laws. Y'all cheated. You were here last night. I got here at 5:10 a.m. Ha! There are no rules, Rock Laws. The Old Man 68. Happy Thursday, everyone. Let's get ready for another great show, and don't forget to smash that like button.
Was he first?
No, he was way down.
Oh.
But I think he's like letting others.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's like when you're just that good.
Right.
And it's like, this is not fun anymore because I keep crushing everyone,
Right.
So I'll let somebody else.
I got you.
And
Yeah,
he's
no.
spreading the
Sure.
love. That's
Right.
what you do with family. Thanks, old man.
Right.
Carol 1776. Morning, everyone. Ready for another Robcast. And yes, producer Jason, you are a legend. Thank you for confirming that.
By the way, real quick, if you're one of these regulars in the YouTube chat, we love you. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, you've got to get your ticket to the live show. You got to come meet each other in person. That's part of the reason we're doing this, is so everybody can meet each other. We made the ticket super affordable. It helps the show. You get to have fun, and you get to meet your friends.
And I told Rob I'd go ahead and come on out just in case anybody just wanted to see me instead of Rob.
Right,
so
very
that
good.
Maybe an extra ticket or two there.
Yep.
All right.
Perfect. Bingo.
Carol adds, did I read the part where she says, and yes, producer Jason, you are a legend. Okay, make sure we got that in. Missed yesterday and had to watch a replay. Just not the same without all the people in the chat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All
Got to catch it live in order to do the chat.
Right, there we go. Spray Jockey, good morning, everyone. These messages will self-destruct in 34 minutes. All right, that was before the show. McLovin, seriously starting to think we're becoming a cult. 7:45 a.m. Good morning, everyone.
This is before 8 o'clock.
This
still.
is even before 8 o'clock.
Oh, that's crazy.
I mean, this is like, obviously it was 7:45 a.m. Eastern time. Kevin Branham, I think the other side thinks we drank the Kool-Aid. Spray Jockey, I think it's the draw of having Jason read our names. Where do we go? We get to be introduced by a strip club DJ as if we were the next person to have our post revealed to the world.
Okay, here's my question to you guys in the YouTube chat. Were you all in the they weren't keen on engagement with the YouTube chat at the old place. Were you guys all in the YouTube chat at the old place?
I wasn't.
No, I know you weren't. I'm saying that all of our chatters now. Or were you just like radio listeners who then came over to the YouTube chat?
Yeah, where'd y'all come from?
Yeah, where did you people come from?
I was shocked first day. It was like, wow, I expected everybody to hate Rob. I thought this was a hate show.
Well, that's
what I'd heard.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't follow the YouTube chat very closely at the old place. So were you guys there then and you're here now, or did you come from the radio? That's what I would like to know.
Yeah. And I've never introduced a male stripper, Spray Jockey. I'm assuming you're a male. Maybe I'm assuming too much.
Yeah.
But that'd be difficult.
Well, the place you worked at, it was men were the clientele.
Right. So it'd be like
Alizea and
I'd
Star.
have to use some words like beefcake or something. I don't know.
Sydney.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
Sunshine.
Bambi, Barbie. Just the typical. All right. Kevin Branham, all the comments are still up for the early risers. Debbie Holcomb, now we just need to figure out how to do a chat over the weekend.
Oh yeah.
I could just put Monday's show. I could do that like Friday evening, and you guys could just chat away. You get bored, just pop in at any point.
Yeah.
Who's here? I mean, it's a thing. All right. Old Guy, Kansas. I guess it's Kansas, KS. Still don't understand how they can suspend a tax without admitting they don't need the tax in the first place.
So he's talking about the gas tax, which was our opening segment today. If you missed that, go back and listen to it.
Yes.
Yeah, and yes, that's my point. They're admitting they don't need the money. And the big thing that got buried in that story was how much they've added to the reserves, which is the overtaxation. They overtaxed you by $700 million this year.
Mm-hmm.
They overtaxed you by $700 million. Mm-hmm. On all the additional stuff they bought, they overtaxed you by $700 million.
How much is it going to cost for the Bears?
A couple billion, probably.
Oh, okay. Just a drop in the bucket. All right. Robert, nope. Jim Tinnicor, the positive side of the Iran conflict, Indiana suspends the sales and gas tax, proving how much we pay just in taxes.
That's right. No, he's spot on. And what's going to be fascinating is to watch Braun and these guys worm out of this once they reinstall the tax. Because at some point, they're going to have to reinstall the tax because they're not going to stop spending the money.
Robert Schwartz, I see the weeds are starting to spread, and the wrestling figures are back. I think we got the weeds looking okay.
Yeah.
Oh, didn't even realize that one weed is the thing's going right up to your head.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't see that. Ah, damn it.
Well, now you pointed out to everyone, so now they'll all see it.
I didn't see that. Kevin Branham is going to suspend the increase is he going to suspend the increase in the gas tax that takes effect July 1st?
Well, okay, that's a good
question.
point.
Yeah.
Well, that would be, it's all suspended. So it would all be suspended, yes. What he's asking is July 1st, the gas tax goes up by a penny every year.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, until July 7th, which is a month, it would be suspended.
So what's going to happen is our president is going to resolve this conflict and win again. And as soon as he does,
sure,
Braun's going to jack the tax back in, and everybody's going to blame Trump for the high gas price. It's Braun's fault, not our president.
Yeah.
All right. C. Mills, abolish property tax and income tax. All right. Got to replace it with something because those people got to eat. Those people got to eat.
Here's a question. What tax would you guys be okay with?
I think sales tax is probably the way to go because, and they say that taxes the poor more than anything, but, you go buy a yacht, you buy a car, you buy whatever, you're paying that sales tax.
Right.
As long as there's no exemptions on any of that, I think that would be the way to go. That way, if you want to save your money, you save your money.
Right.
If you want to spend it, knock yourself out, but you're paying the taxes.
Right. Yeah,
I don't know.
I got you.
I mean, I don't know that there's any good way, but.
Yeah.
All right. Jim Tennecore, still waiting for my tariff refund.
Oh, yeah. Where's that at?
Mm-hmm.
Because all those companies are getting that money back, too.
Mm-hmm. MLM Warriors. At Producer Jason, a question from yesterday from Rock Laws. He asked Rob, who is your favorite golfer and what is your best golfing club?
Okay. My favorite golfer, I really have John Daly is my favorite.
Okay.
I'm a big Greg Norman fan, too. They're obviously retired now, or mostly retired.
Mm-hmm.
I was a Tom Watson fan. My parents, I was lived in Kansas City when I was younger. Tom Watson's from Kansas City. My parents were. Tom Watson won, 8 majors? He was after Jack Nicklaus, he was the next great guy. So those are probably my 3 favorite golfers. I don't get to play very much anymore. Parenting has pretty much stymied my ability to play. The best I ever shot for a round of golf was 33, which was 2 under par.
Okay. Shrog Sandwich. Oh, you done?
I'm done.
Okay.
I think I answered everybody's stuff.
Great. Shrog Sandwich. If Indiana has the cheapest gas in the nation due to our huge combine voices, keep it up. Combined voices? Combined voices.
Yeah.
Keep it up. That goes to show the lack of Rob Kendall across the nation.
That's right.
That's right.
If y'all had a me, you'd be better off.
If everybody had a Rob.
That's right.
Just think how different the world would be.
And a belt daddy Jason.
That's right. Don't forget that. LD Stoltz, hit the like button, everybody, and thank you because we got a ton of likes today.
You guys are awesome.
Thank you. There's some of the Shelbyville people I think popped in and
welcome
visited
to Shelbyville,
and hopefully they'll continue to come back. Speaking of which, Bowden JM, astounding statement by Shelbyville Mayor, and that's obviously how he really thinks. Really thinks of people who oppose data centers.
Okay, so if you missed early in the show, the Shelbyville mayor was caught on camera making incredibly derogatory remarks. Go back and listen to the segment. Incredibly derogatory remarks about people who live in the greater Shelbyville area who have the no data center signs out. And he was brazen about it, and he did it in a public place, and he was a moron and didn't realize he was being filmed. And then his apology was also pathetic. And my point of the segment was, these politicians hate you. I've said this for years, and you guys are like, what do you mean? There you go. He basically said it right on camera, what he thinks of you.
Don B. Rob seems to be growing a ficus forest. Charles Ludi. The set has it all today. The greenery, side table, coffee mug, and Lily Putins. Was that a word? Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Sorry, my intelligence just isn't quite up to Charles Ludi's probably. Well, almost everything. All you need is your sign, and it's perfect.
It's there.
That's why I'm way the hell up here.
That's right.
That might have been early. I'm not sure what. Charles, are you watching today's show? I'm probably, of course, reading it wrong out of context or something. That most of the commenters are way more intelligent than I. Kevin Branham. Mom did a great job on the shirt today.
Thank you. Yeah, she brought
colorful,
a fresh pair of shirts.
Easteridge.
Sunday. She brought it Sunday.
Pam Kendall. Thanks, Kevin. Love you all. And then I had to boot a guy today.
Oh,
yeah,
that's 2 days in a row.
He's been in before. Well, no, he's been in before, and it's
wasn't there a guy the other day you had to kick out?
Okay, right. Oh. But and I don't like when I have to do that. It hurts me more than it does you.
Right.
But he was attacking other people.
Yeah,
that's the thing. It's like you can say what you want about Rob or me,
within reason.
Although there's never really negative about me, but you can say what you want about Rob. That's allowed. But you start insulting
within
everybody
reason.
else. Yeah, because you people this and you people that. Well, then you're just don't need to be here. Okay, go play in the other playground with the 3 other people. Jan Hatch, did I hear a dog?
Yeah, I have a dog sitting. It's Obi is his name. He's a little golden doodle. He's a miniature golden doodle. He's a very nice dog. And my daughter loves dogs. She has 2 dogs at her daycare, so she was thrilled to death. I, on the other hand, as usual, everyone's thrilled but me. My wife is excited because he just sits with her while she works. And then there's me that has to just deal with it all. It's pretty much my life these days.
Mad Duck asks, what is this about being back on the radio? There is no well, I'll let you answer that. Rob.
Well, there's no this right now.
There is no radio right now, but a lot of chirping.
Yeah, there is no radio.
A lot of people see the value in Rob.
We'll tell you when there's time. When there's
contractual things and things you can't discuss.
We'll tell you when there's something.
We're just having fun right now,
That's
just kind of cruising through the next few months. And,
That's right.
Waiting for the skies to open. All right. McLovin's telling the other guy that I only put him on a 24-hour ban. We'll see if he can come back tomorrow and
learn his lesson.
Play nice. But you got to be nice. We all play nice here. This is McLovin saying this. If we don't, producer Jason will spank us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like being back at the club.
Did you ever you had to kick girls out?
I would just fire them.
Yeah. You had the ability, as the DJ, you had the ability to fire?
Well, I was a manager.
Oh, that's right.
And by the way, I was brought in, and I won't go into detail here. I mean, we make fun of this and have fun with it. I was brought in to clean things up every time. I worked for one guy. I would go in for like 6 months, and then I had to leave so I wouldn't get, stabbed by the girls because they would hate me. And, you're in a room full of women, and they hate you. That's not like the best job in the world. But I would be brought in to stop the prostitution, to stop the drugs, to stop the dealing, just all that kind of thing, clean things up because they knew I didn't go in for what everybody else went in for. That wasn't why I was there. So they knew I would go in. I was trustworthy. They always made more money when I was there because it didn't go into my pocket. And but you would be amazed. And one day we can get into, all the trafficking and things that go on in the strip clubs and gentlemen's clubs, whatever you want to call it. And there was a lot of that. A lot of that goes on, and the prostitution thing. And one thing was if you're a manager at a gentlemen's club, and an excise comes in and arrests a girl for prostitution, they will also arrest the manager.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
So the first day I would come in, I knew
who the bad actors were.
And I would be like, don't come back tomorrow. Don't go. Why? You can't do that. You can't fire me for no reason. It's like, it's a strip club. Go get a lawyer. Whatever. But no, so I didn't want to get arrested. And so I was brought in, and there were girls that I would help. And not help, but there were girls that were trafficked and didn't want to do what they were doing and things like that. So I was brought in to clean that sort of thing up, and then I would leave because it can only take so much, and then set it up for somebody else. And then about a year later, he'd be like, we need you back because that guy's drunk on the floor, the manager, and
I miss the tuxedo when you used to wear the tux.
Yeah. Well, it's a gentleman's club.
Yeah. Question.
Mm-hmm.
Have the strip clubs been hurt because of like the OnlyFans? Has
strip clubs been hurt since with Obama, with the recession, then with the non-smoking?
The recession got the strip clubs?
Oh, yeah. Well, The recession stopped, as I said the other day, without going into major detail, business suits would go into strip clubs all the time.
Right.
Pendleton Pike, that's why all the strip clubs are on Pendleton Pike, because they couldn't get into Fishers and Castleton.
Right.
So they'd build them all on Pendleton Pike, and all the wealthy guys and the politicians, I could name names, would all come down for lunch, for the buffets.
Yeah.
You eat lunch, eat dinner or whatever, and have a business meeting, and you write it off. Well, remember when the recession hit, it was a big thing about Vegas mostly.
Yeah.
That everybody was partying in Vegas. They said it's not a good look for these corporations to be partying while everybody else is suffering. So they stopped that. Well, that also then, and we probably need to stop the strip club tab.
Yeah.
So no more writing off. And if they're not writing it off, they're not spending the money out of their own pocket. So that hurt. The non-smoking laws hurt. And then
really, people got mad because they couldn't smoke in the strip club.
Just in any club that people would just, I'm not going to go to a bar anymore. I don't know who you're mad at. It's not the bar's fault, but
right.
A lot of people like that. And then, of course, the internet, because you don't. Again,
that's what
we're going way too deep into this, and I don't mean to do that. But strip clubs aren't about sex necessarily. There is that goes on. It's about communication. 65, 70-year-old guy, he's a widower or whatever, and he'll just go and have conversations. And the girls that made the most money were the ones, not always the best-looking ones, because guys would shy away from them because they looked like gold diggers. So they'd go to the girl next door and just sit down and have a conversation. And they'd pay her to have a converstion.
Interesting.
No touching, things like that. So anyway, okay, we'll get off all that.
All right.
But I just want people to know I'm not a total degenerate.
No, I saw you there a couple times, and I was always enthralled with, I was telling your friends or whatever they were. Don't touch me. I'm not here to be entertained. I'm just here to see this guy for a few minutes.
MLM Warriors, slow day, Jason story time. Yes. Yeah, sorry. Well, we always mention that. It's like I just wanted people to kind of know there was a reason I was there, and it wasn't just partying or whatever. I never drank when I wore. He didn't. That was the thing. It's like you can't be in control like that. So, okay, let's see. Now we got to follow that up with the. Okay, Robert Schwartz.
Yeah.
What time is it? Okay, Robert Schwartz. If data centers are so necessary, why aren't they being built near the ocean or on islands and where the water and no people are?
Right.
That is true. I mean, why do they have to be in populated areas?
Well, you got
to unless they're sucking the resources and making everybody pay for it.
They are, and that's the cause for concern. But I'm not familiar with how a water line would run from the ocean to the data center, right? That's where you got one of the biggest problems about this. You know who is an expert on this and would be fascinating? And I sent him a message on Twitter the other day. Dan Dockich's brother, Tom, is a well-known Indiana businessman, and he's big in the data center game now. And he had made a post the other day about it. And so he would be a good person to get on, because I think he's got even though he's in the game of making money off the data centers, I think he's got a reasonable view on it. And this is one of the biggest things with the data centers is a lack of transparency about everything related to them. Here's a one sheet, right? Like how the data centers work,
what's going on in there.
And people are always going to reject things they don't understand.
Right. Well, and people immediately assume, they're gathering data on us. What data are they gathering, and how are they going to use it? We don't know. We're simpletons. Well, I'm a simpleton. Explain.
Right.
Use elementary words or whatever. All right. The old guy, Kansas. Simple rule. Data centers must provide 90% of their own water and electricity, no polluted water dumping, and reasonable buffers. That's a little too reasonable there. Okay, Connie Lindsay.
So Connie Lindsay is the leader, or one of the leaders, of the Shelbyville anti-data center group. We've had her on the show before.
And she says a total of 9,500 signatures.
Okay,
so 9,500 people signed that petition.
Yeah, so when the mayor's out there talking about they're just unkempt properties or they're all renters or whatever, it's just what an ass. That's not true at all, or nor would it even be close to. And I think the biggest thing was the apology or the lack thereof when he gives the quote. And the thing to say would have been, what I said was totally inappropriate. It's also inaccurate. Look, I care deeply about Shelbyville. I'm passionate about this project. I think it'll be great for the city. It's been frustrating seeing everybody at each other. I spoke out of turn. I don't mean it. I'm deeply sorry to anyone. I apologize. We appreciate every person in our city, regardless of what their view on the data center is. Bam, boom. But he wouldn't do that.
MLM Warriors throws in I am suggesting a slow news day. I'm not suggesting it's a slow news day, but I am suggesting, here's what MLM Warriors had to say.
Reading.
Yes. I am suggesting on a slow news day, just Jason's story time. Not that, in other words, not being negative. That's what I think MLM Warriors was trying to say. That I think I read the comment earlier like it could have been taken negative.
Oh.
That it's a slow day, so I'm telling a story. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, probably could have skipped that one. Sorry. But thank you, MLM Warrior. I totally got it. I guess. I don't know. Okay. Let's see. Jim Tennecore. I'm with you, Rob. I hate these people. The reason they may be renters is because they can't afford to buy a house these days because of your policies.
That's right. Look,
the mayor.
The entire time I was an elected official, I lived in a rental house. And I lived there, one, because it was in my ward I had to live in. Two, it was cheap. Three, I was a single guy. I didn't, need something great. And they took care of everything, and they never raised the rent.
Well, you had Bruce.
No, I didn't have Bruce.
Oh, you didn't have Bruce?
I had to get out of that place because I got Bruce.
Oh.
I had Bruce.
Dog haters.
I asked them. I would have stayed in that place forever. I got Bruce. I asked them. I said, if I get this dog, because the woman I was living with at the time found him, and my girlfriend, and she was like, you have to get this dog. He looks exactly like your old dog.
Oh, I remember.
And
like mistake, Rob.
And I went to the landlord. I was like, can I get this dog? He's like, no, you cannot get this dog. I was like, but I have to get this dog. And So I had Bruce undercover for like 2 weeks in that house until I found another place to live. Anyway, there you go.
Okay, since you brought it up, I remember the night that the day after you got the dog, because it was like a day or two after, we had to go to North Carolina, and that girl had to watch this dog that she was like so adamant that you get, and she's freaking out. I'm going to let this dog out the door and throw it away or whatever. And that was the night that it was the vice president debate. Pence was
no, you got the times wrong then.
Well, no. Who was the debate? There was a debate. We couldn't listen to it on the radio because you were constantly on the phone, like for 8 hours.
I'm going to set your time straight on that, but we got to get to the rest of these comments
not to
first.
Throw the dog away. All right.
Bruce was before Pence was vice president.
All right. Pamela's. And the mayor of Shelbyville is a Republican. I thought Republicans cared about the constituents.
Oh, is he Republican?
That's what Pamela says. Yeah. Rock and roll nurse. Half our town signed that petition.
Yeah, well, 9,500 people it would be.
Yeah. Timothy Sears. Shame on you, Scott Ferguson. Yeah. Shrog Sandwich. Data centers are surveillance centers. We cannot comply to that, guys. That's what she says. Pam Kendall. Okay, this goes down to sorry. See this. You guys hear him. Producer Jason. Sorry if my comments caused a problem. You do such a great job. We'll remain silent from now on.
Who said that?
That was your mother. And so I let her know, no, that is not the way that this game is played, and that my response was basically like, you're royalty here, and no, you are allowed here. Because what the person I had to put in the timeout was making fun of everybody talking about your shirt and things like that.
Yeah,
So she took that it was her fault somehow, and it's like, no, that's
you can't do that.
Not the case, Vic Ferrari. No way, Mama Kendall. You say whatever you want here. That's right. That's what we say. Andrew, I want to get to know Lauren Wilson.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She'll be on the show, won't she?
Yeah, next week she's coming in. Look, guys, here's the crazy thing about real estate. The market in Indy right now, it's like literally what neighborhood you live in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's certain neighborhoods and certain cities that are just complete gangbusters.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to tell us, like, hey, if you live here, you could make $1 gajillion on your house. If you live in this neighborhood, nobody's coming to you. So that's going to be fascinating next week.
Okay, my response to her on the spot was, and I rarely respond in here because, again, I can't get caught up in that. We've got a show to do here. But at Pam Kendall, no, you're royalty here, Mom Kendall. Don't let a loser stop your comments. You belong here.
Yeah.
Debbie Holcomb, at Pam Kendall. You most certainly belong here. We love you.
Oh, jeez.
The old man. Nobody puts Mama Kendall in a corner. Rock Laws. Pam Kendall is royalty here. Yes, there we go. So that's we just wanted to make sure she understood that. Drew, does anybody else miss Linda Cheesem? I thought we were going to get Linda in on the...
I got to try to do that. I have not heard from her in a while, and so I need to reach out to her and see how she's doing.
Okay. And we will okay. Nick Adams, Double D is awesome sauce. Great ribs and hush puppies. Double D's barbecue. Gettle's Guns, can we write in Rob Kendall for Secretary of State? Asking for a friend. Me, I'm the friend.
Somebody, when the Senate race was going a couple years ago, people voted for me for Senate. I had it in my office at IBC for years. There was a photo. Guy took a photo of himself writing in my name on the ballot thing. So I don't know how the writing works.
Got a couple more. Baby Fishmouth. Ingling was the vice chair of the IUPUI College Republicans in 2008. I don't think I ever met him. He certainly didn't show up to volunteer when the group did phone banks.
Oh?
Yeah, he was probably above that.
Well, he's the president.
Oh, okay. Ethan Hatcher. Rob, you won the genetic lottery, too. You got the structure of Tom Cruise. Ethan just wanted to get in there. Oh, C. Mills, if Rob became governor, he wouldn't be able to say he's poor.
Well, yeah, that's true. That would be a huge pay raise to be the governor.
All right, couple more. A new one. Hoosier Simple Country Lawyer. Hoosier Simple Country Lawyer. Southern Indiana delegate for Bo Bye here. I got hooked on this show because of the Diego content. I've been making fun of Diego since he was everywhere with disproportionately huge checks.
That's right. Remember that? He was going around to communities handing out checks, and they had his name on them. Like the money came from him.
Almond Joy Tempo. Maybe if you become governor, Brownsburg High School will put you on their Hall of Fame wall, Rob. See how that all works out. Now all we need is the $10 million to get you in. Oh, wait. Big Daddy Rust?
Rust is
I'm just Daddy. Rust is Big Daddy.
Rust not going to give me $10 million. Although he might. I don't know.
Yeah, you never know. MLM Warriors. Maybe if you were running against banks. MLM Warriors.
Oh, he totally would then.
MLM Warriors. Rob become governor at producer Jason would be $200,000 advisor. That'd be a waste of state funds, but I'd take it.
You would be willing to waste those state funds.
I would. For the good of the people, the good of the state. Andy Engel. We'll finish with Andy today. Insert witty comment here, and producer Jason will hopefully read it.
That's right.
And he did.
Bingo.
There we go. Awesome. Awesome chat, guys. That was great. Brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. Make sure give them a call. Black Sheep Plumbing, sponsor of the chat. That'll do it for me. So long, everybody.
All right, guys, if you missed it this morning, New State House Happenings is up. When you get done here today, Jim Merritt and I would take you through the fastest 30 minutes, biggest stories of the previous week. We're talking about the upcoming state conventions. We're talking about Secretary of State's race. We're talking about the Bears, all sorts of stuff. So if you didn't get enough Rob Kendall Show today, you can check out State House Happenings under our videos collection there on YouTube. It's on the Apple. It's on the Spotify. It's been loaded to all of the places. All right, that's going to do it for us today. You guys have a great rest of your day. Be safe. We'll see you here tomorrow, 9 to noon. For producer Jason, I'm Rob Kendall. You've been watching Rob Kendall Show.